Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and also welcome to the new session, the first session I would say that we have today for the live top-up pack for NABARD Grade A examination. Okay, I hope it is the screen it is visible and audible. Please, people in the chat section, please tell hello. And here we can see that okay, so today we are both live and we have Zoom session also, and today we are integrated in YouTube also. That is going to be just one session. Okay, so I hope that is fine. So देखो, now we'll understand the strategy that what we are going to follow in these sessions, right? First we should have the clarity. देखो, basic idea क्या है? Through these sessions we are going to understand about, like, we are going to understand each and everything about the ARD section, static section I would say, of the examination. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to cover all the topics that are there, okay, in your syllabus for ARD. We are going to focus more on the important topics. However, we are going to touch everything. You need not to worry. We will touch everything. I will tell you what are the what are more important chapters from the examination point of view, what things to keep in mind. ठीक है, ये सब बातें करेंगे. And rest apart, if there is something which is, you know, which you can just read for the sake of reading. However, there is no much like 99 to 100% importance of that particular section from the examination point of view. I'll just let you know that these things are present in your summary sheet in the course, and you can just have an overview of that. Okay, now what is going to be the approach in the sessions? Okay, approach कैसे रहने वाली है? We are going to cover all the topics question and answer wise. ठीक है, question and answer form में करेंगे because it will be easier to understand. Basically it will help you to know that which concept we are now doing. ठीक है, ये आपको इस चीज में help करेगा. Now I can see a lot of questions coming. Okay, let me just first tell you the strategy, then I'll answer if it feels like कि अभी इस चीज को cater करना जरूरी है before even starting. ठीक है, question answer form में करेंगे. Now one more thing I want to add on over here is the question that have been framed. Okay, some will be very basic in nature. Some of the question you will find very basic in nature, and you would question that whether such question would come in examination or not. Okay, in some cases it might come, I will let you know. Okay, but in some cases the question and answers are deliberately being made basic because we just want to touch that particular concept. Okay, for example, if I want to start with telling you the basics of agriculture, right? So of course I would have to frame a basic question on it so that the concept can be answered, right? Or the concept can be explained. So please don't mind if some of the questions are basic. Okay, that is just to touch the topic or maybe initiate a topic. Okay, while in some cases such one liners are expected, are being asked, that is also what I will explain during the session. Okay, so we have already made a schedule, you must have had that in the course. Okay, so today we are going to do with the first introduction to agriculture, and this is a very basic chapter. This introduction to agriculture is literally, you can understand from the name itself. So here the basics we will understand about the different branches of agriculture, the sub branches of these branches. Okay, and the one liners that can be asked and have been asked in the examination. ठीक है, तो introduction to agriculture होगा. Then we will start with the agronomy. ठीक है, agronomy chapter we will do. Here also we are going to discuss the basics initially. Okay, if time will allow, because this is a lengthy chapter. ठीक है, जितना छोटा आपका introduction to agriculture है उतना ही लंबा आपका agronomy chapter है. If it can be covered in today's session, we'll see. Otherwise we will do it in the next session. ठीक है, anyway tomorrow session, the chapters that we are going to cover in tomorrow session, those are very स्मॉलर इन नेचर. ठीक है, वो काफी छोटे हैं, शॉर्टर है. तो एग्रोनॉमी अगर हमने इनकॉर्पोरेट कर दिया वहां पे तो इट विल नॉट बी दैट बिग इशू. ओके, एंड प्लीज डोंट माइंड the schedule that we have for the next 2 weeks. Okay, it is going to be thorough. Okay, it is not like that any classes is going to be skipped or any content will be skipped. I will cover all the chapters in these next 2 weeks. ठीक है, अब मैं कुछ questions ले लेती हूँ. I'll take some of the questions, okay, before starting, so that even you have clarity how to approach for the ARD component. Okay, that we are going to cover in course. ठीक है. Siddharth, you must be having, see, in your course there are different bundles. In your bundle that you have bought for NABARD top-up pack, okay, there are different bundles present there. The one that you have clicked currently, it is for ARD live classes. Okay, but there is another such course which is named as ARD crash course. Okay, if you click on that, if you click on ARD crash course, there you will find chapter wise all the summary sheets. Okay, summary sheets, we have previous year papers, and then along with that, we have quizzes also. Okay, so what you can do, Siddharth, you can read the summary sheet. For example, tomorrow we are going to cover third and fourth chapter, and I think some of the agronomy will also be done tomorrow only. Okay, we will look at today's time and then we will understand. So what you can do now, it's up to you. What you can do for summary sheet, you can pick up the summary sheet of the chapters which you can look in the schedule, you can read, and the next you can start for it. Okay, one thing is this, and the next question of Mahesh is how to prepare for descriptive ARD. See, to understand and prepare for descriptive ARD, first we have to learn the static component, right? तो अभी क्या करते हैं, पहले स्टैटिक में फोकस करते हैं. ओके, देन these contents only will further help you to build your basics or to write in the descriptive answer. ठीक है, एक चीज तो ये भी है. So this answer I think I will give you after 2 to 3 days, okay, where we will have enough content to even guide you if the static question comes, how to tackle for it. Okay, Mahesh, I hope you understand. And here I'll take some of the other questions also. Yes, doubt session, Siddharth, will be there. And in between also, if you feel like you have some query regarding a particular topic, I would request you to raise your hand. Okay? So those who have joined through Zoom meeting, who have enrolled themselves into the course, they have this feature to raise their hands. Okay? You can raise your hand and you can ask me, and I'll answer there only. Okay, Siddharth? Yuvraj, okay, how to prepare for ARD current affairs. Anjali, for ARD current affairs, we have Schemes Tap, EduTap magazine. Okay, so when you will go to your the such I told you that we have such courses designed in this bundle, right? So one bundle, it will be specifically for current affairs. So in current affairs, you will find current affairs course, you will find a magazine which is known as EduTap. So this is specifically, this particular magazine, it specifically caters to the agriculture news. ठीक है, तो आप इसको refer कर सकते हैं. Apart from that, in ARD current affairs component, we have government schemes, we have reports, and for that also under the current affairs course, you will find all these magazines. For your schemes tab also, current tab also, current tab also you will get, schemes tab also you will get, as well as reports tab you will also get. ठीक है. Apart from that, current affairs ARD includes your census, your budget, survey, everything has been provided under the current affairs course and inside this bundle. Please look at it. Okay, Ajinkya, yes, these sessions will be enough for the ARD component, and if there is something which I have just explained you in the video, but for the memorizing part, if you have to refer to the summary sheet, I will let you know. Apart from this, the sessions are enough for ARD component. Nidish, we don't have specifically agri report, means agri report. For that we don't have any separate magazine name. Okay, when you will open the current affairs, no, you would understand there we have mentioned everything. Like for example, in EduTap, it is a magazine for current affairs. So now for reports, we don't have like agri report like such. Okay, for example, if there is NABARD annual report, we have the section name only NABARD annual report. If you click on it, you will get the PDF. Similarly, for agriculture and farmers welfare report, we have similar to that. Okay. Yes, Nidish, livestock census NABARD report, you will look at, you will find the section only. Okay. Shiv, in the GA of NABARD, it's the general awareness that comes, like for example, author, who is the author of this particular book, where is this national park, all the basics, the general awareness, who is the president. It can be who is the newly appointed president. Like if some country, a new president, prime minister has been appointed, they can ask you that. If some award has been given, who has given the award, they belong to which field, such basic agriculture generic questions are asked. Okay. And see, I am taking some doubt because this is the first session. I can understand you will have many queries inside your head, but we also have to keep in mind that we have to start off with the chapter as well. Okay. So I am going to take, please don't mind if after a while I'll just stop with the questions and I'll start, but I will take some because these are important to have the clarity. For example, a very good question was asked by Siddharth that if they want to have the PDF first, Hana? So in such cases, you have already have been provided. Current affairs don't come. Shiv, it can be asked. Dekho, general awareness is like general. So ESI, ARD currents can be expected in your GA portion, right? Because ESI is also a part of general awareness only, right? So it's not like that they are excluded from general GA section. They can be, but usually they are being kept in ESI only, economic and social issues only. However, there can be a question on memorandum of understanding and in partnership. It can be there, but not like 100%. So anything is not excluded actually, Shiv. Mayank, yes, this is the first lecture. Okay. Um, Satya, I'll let you know at the end of the session. I'll just mention that also. Okay. I hope that's not an issue. How many marks? See, last year out of 40 question, Virat, out of 40 question, 32 were asked from static, and only 8 were asked from current affairs in ARD. However, in ESI, it's just the opposite case. There, the current affair is given much importance and ARD is given lesser importance. But from the past two cycle, and please mind from the past two cycle, the pattern of the examination has also changed. So you can understand that since they have changed the pattern, they have also changed the priorities in ARD section. And now they are asking more static question. Okay. Expected Prachi, it can be any time expected in August or maybe at the start of the September only. Vinay, if you have taken the course, that is enough. You need not to go for any books. Okay. For overall strategy, we already have various videos that have been made on YouTube. Okay, I would say please refer to that. But yes, in ARD, the thing that we are completing in these next 2 weeks, those will be more than enough for do. Deva, then you do more revision. Okay, if you have already done with the ARD. Uh, Right. I think I've already taken. Yes, I was prioritizing the Zoom questions and then I came to YouTube. I hope now everybody questions are and everything is now doubt is solved now. And now let's start off. Okay. So today we are going to do introduction to agriculture and agronomy. These two chapters we are going to do today. Okay. We'll start with the first chapter, which is introduction to agriculture. And here's a very basic question in front of you. It says agriculture word is derived from which language? Okay. So again, very basic, just wanted to have a, to give you initiate of this particular subject or topic, you can say. So I'm getting mixed answer, A and B, waiting for the some more people to participate, right? So see here, the correct answer, you'll see, okay, we'll understand, and then you will yourself answer. I have not added the answer over here. Okay, agriculture, it has been derived from Latin word, okay? And what are the two words from which it has been derived? It has been derived, agriculture word, it has been derived from the word ager, which means land or soil, and culture, which means cultivation. So what does then agriculture it means? It means cultivation of soil or of land. Okay, why is it so? Because we know that now we have animal husbandry, we have fishery. So why are we using this particular term? See, we need to understand this definition derived way long back, right? At that time, people were dependent on crops for their livelihood or for their survival, right? So this definition has been derived from there, from a Latin word ager, which means land or soil, and culture means cultivation. So to cultivate in soil or land is known as your agriculture. But now with the passage of time, the definition has changed a lot. Now it has included animal husbandry. Now the animals are reared for n number of purpose, right? For milk they have been derived, right? And for the meat purpose they are now reared, okay? And even for the skin purpose are now they're reared, right? Apart from that, forestry has also now been included, okay? So agriculture, which was initially just restricted to crops, now it has increased to forest as well. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे forestry का भी ध्यान देते हैं. Now it, you can see these are the extended versions of agriculture, and next one being the aquaculture. So aquaculture means now even we are utilizing the resources that we have in water bodies, okay, and we are focusing on the cultivation and the, you can say, scientific cultivation of the food that can be derived from water, and now it has also been added in your agriculture. ठीक है, तो अब पहले जो सिर्फ लैंड क्रॉप्स तक सीमित था, नाउ वी हैव बीन इंक्लूडेड एनिमल हस्बेंड्री, फॉरेस्ट्री, एक्वाकल्चर, ये भी अब आपका एग्रीकल्चर का कंपोनेंट में आ गया है. एंड ऑफ कोर्स एग्रीकल्चर, it's a very big question, that is agriculture an art, a science, or it's a commerce? Okay, it's just a business. Okay, uh, when we talk about the definition, okay, so if you talk about the correct definition, as Yuvraj is saying, yes, it is your science also, art also, and your commerce or business also. Okay, so in basic definition we understand it is the science and art of cultivating crops. ठीक है, science कैसे है? Because see here, if you look at, we are developing high yield varieties, right? We are developing, we are creating various instruments that can be used in the field, okay, which will give us high yield, which will save our time. ठीक है, तो because we are using the technologies in the agriculture sector, that is why we call them science. ठीक है, and of course here when we are talking about science, तो जो mating, जो for good breeds, even for the natural the traditional ways, if I talk about of mating, अभी तो देखो एकदम से with the help of these साइंटिफिक वे कि जिसमें आपका क्रोमोसोम्स अटैचमेंट हो जाता है आपका, ठीक है, एट द लेबोरेटरी लेवल, उससे भी आपकी न्यू बिल्डिंग वेराइटीज बन जाती है, राइट? बट इवन इफ यू गो फॉर द ट्रेडिशनल लॉन्गर वेज टू सेलेक्ट द to select the different breeds, okay, and then mating them and producing a new breed, even these all are require the scientific knowledge. That is why agriculture, it is a science. Okay, how is an art? Okay, because see, for every step in agriculture you require skill, okay, even for sowing seeds, to how much depth to sow it, okay, and then after different intercultural operation happens, okay, to distinguish between the weeds and the plants. Why is it so? Because many weeds, they actually look like plant, okay, so that they can survive in the field. So to segregate that, and after that to take care and taking care and maintaining the plant, okay, into the field. After that, harvesting them, even not limited to this, but even after harvesting, post harvest में भी आपके काफी steps होते हैं, how to store them, everything, it is an art. That is why agriculture is also considered an art. And lastly, it is also a business. Of course, why ultimately a farmer is growing crops? Okay, it is to earn money, to do business, right? That is why agriculture, it is a science also, art also, and a business also. ठीक है, I hope till now everything it is clear. Okay, now let's come to the second question, and which says, which of the following branches of agriculture comes under the allied agriculture group? Ankita, the live classes will be in the app only. These are for paid course. However, because this is first class, that is why we have kept it open in the YouTube also, and the private class is also going on. So currently it's like integrated version, but that is just only one class. And from tomorrow onwards, it is going to be solely for the in the course only. Okay. And yeah, so I'm getting mixed answer for it. Okay, so I knew most of you will get confused, and that is why I've added third option. See, the correct answer over here is just agriculture engineering. Okay, if we talk about the different branches of agriculture, okay, it can be categorized into three groups. Okay, so here are the three groups that I was talking about. Okay, the first group, it talks about the crop production. Okay, so in this, we are in this branch of agriculture, in this section of agriculture, we are focusing on how to have good crop production, how to have good yield. Okay, in that we discuss agronomy. What is agronomy? It is, you know, agronomy, it is like the basic that you learn in agriculture. Okay, in agronomy you deal how to actually take care of the crop production, how to actually produce crops, what are the things to keep in mind. For example, if I tell you how to prepare the land, okay, how to prepare the soil, how to take care once the crop are being sown, what are the different intercultural operations that happen. Okay, so this is known as agronomy. And we specifically, in any way, when we will understand agronomy, you would realize that it talks about in general how to take care of plants. But when we specifically talk about crops, so it talks about the field crops. Now, what are the field crops? These are your crops that are grown on that are grown on field, okay, at the larger scale. It includes your cereals, okay, cereals includes your rice, wheat, maize, ठीक है, जो आपके starchy grains होते हैं, the grains you can say, or the starchy grains that are called your cereals, ठीक है. In fact cereals your it also includes millets, ठीक है. Millets आपने सुना होगा, pearl millet, you must have heard द sorghum, ठीक है, ज्वार बोलो या sorghum बोलो, ज्वार इट इज कॉल्ड इन हिंदी, इन इंग्लिश इट इज कॉल्ड sorghum, ठीक है. पर्ल मिलेट होता है, बाजरा जिसको कहते हैं, ये सब आपके मिलेट्स हैं जो कि सीरियल्स के अंदर आते हैं. देन यू हैव लेग्यूम्स, ठीक है, पल्सेस और लेग्यूम्स बोलते हैं, दीज आर ऑल योर फील्ड क्रॉप्स, ठीक है. लेग्यूम्स आ जाते हैं, पल्सेस आ जाते हैं. देन यू हैव योर ऑयल सीड्स, ठीक है, ऑयल सीड्स आ जाते हैं. देन यू हैव अदर सच केसेस ऑल्सो दैट विल लुक एट, ठीक है. अभी और भी केसेस इसमें देखेंगे, बट ये क्या है, फील्ड क्रॉप्स. एग्रोनॉमी आपका किससे डील करता है, एग्रोनॉमी आपका डील करता है फील्ड क्रॉप से, ठीक है. हॉर्टिकल्चर किससे डील करता है, दीज आर ऑल द क्रॉप्स एक्सेप्ट फॉर द फील्ड क्रॉप्स, ओके. सो हॉर्टिकल्चर क्रॉप्स, इट इंक्लूड्स योर वेजिटेबल्स, इट इंक्लूड्स योर फ्रूट्स, इट इंक्लूड्स योर फ्लावर्स, ओके, इट इंक्लूड्स योर लैंडस्केप हॉर्टिकल्चर, इट इंक्लूड्स योर अर्बोरिकल्चर, ठीक है. इसको हम और डिटेल में हॉर्टिकल्चर देखेंगे, बट यूजुअली इफ यू गो फॉर डेफिनेशन, नो, इफ यू गो फॉर ऑनलाइन डेफिनेशन, हॉर्टिकल्चर आर ऑल क्रॉप्स एक्सेप्ट द फील्ड क्रॉप्स, ठीक है. आपके सारे हटा दें तो जो हॉर्टिकल्चर में आपके बाकी सारी ब्रांचेस अंदर आ जाती है. नेक्स्ट इज फॉरेस्ट्री. सो इन फॉरेस्ट्री व्हेन वी cultivate the trees, and now can we why will we cultivate trees, what can be the possible reason, ठीक है. इसके पॉसिबल रीजन में आपका आ जाता है फॉर इट्स टिम्बर, फॉर इट्स वुड, यू नो, फर्नीचर के लिए बनाते हैं, ठीक है. फॉर द रबर, rubber can be rubber is extracted from these trees and it can be further commercialized, ठीक है. पेपर के लिए, yes, युवराज is saying, ठीक है, पेपर के लिए यूज हो सकता है, right. So there are different products that can be extracted from the forest as well and from the trees as well, ठीक है. तो आपका जो फॉरेस्ट्री में होता है, इसमें we take care of the how to produce or how to take care of the trees, okay, so that we can have the maximum benefit out of it. तो ये जो 3 सेक्शन आपके होते हैं, ये किस में आ जाते हैं, ये आपके आ जाते हैं क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन में, ठीक है. Now as we have understood that agriculture, it has now come a long way, and now it is not just about crops, right. Now it also talks about animal husbandry, taking care of लाइफ स्टॉक, ठीक है. लाइफ स्टॉक आपके जितने भी आपके जो लाइफ स्टॉक है, द एनिमल्स दैट वी यूज इन एग्रीकल्चर, फॉर एग्जांपल कैटल्स, वी हैव बफेलोज, वी हैव गोट्स, शीप्स, ठीक है. ये सब आपके एनिमल हस्बेंड्री में आ जाते हैं. फिशरीज आपका एक सेक्शन है, फिशरीज टॉक अबाउट द फिश, ठीक है. फिशेज है, उनके वेराइटीज के बारे में बात करते हैं, ठीक है. नाउ देखो, अब एनिमल मैनेजमेंट में नाउ यू कैन ऐड मोर फीचर्स ऑल्सो, राइट. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई गिव यू न्यू एग्जाम्पल्स, पोल्ट्री कैन बी एडेड. पोल्ट्री इज व्हाट, बेसिकली जो बर्ड्स का जो रियरिंग करते हैं, ठीक है, उनको पोल्ट्री बोलते हैं, ठीक है. एंड नाउ इवन द फिशरीज, लाइक नाउ द इवन द वाटर एक्वेटिक एनिमल्स आर नाउ नॉट जस्ट रेस्ट्रिक्टेड टू फिशेज, राइट. नाउ वी कंज्यूम मेनी other organism also, right. For example, shrimp ho gaya, we have octopus that are now being consumed, right. And apart from that we have squids bhi hota hai, काफी ऐसे बाकी सारे aquatic animals bhi hai now which are consumed. So now fisheries अगर बोले तो अब इसका broader term we can use which is aquaculture, okay. तो आप क्या बोल सकते हो, in a way you can say that fishery is one of the product of aquaculture, right, or is a type of aquaculture. And aquaculture in itself, it is a broader term. Aquaculture includes all the animals as well as the not only animals but also the plants that are being cultivated, ठीक है. तो आपका aquaculture में वैसे दोनों आ जाते हैं. Animal management में now please don't get confused that it is plant also that is being included. That is why here specifically fisheries बोल दिया गया है, ठीक है. But I hope you have the broader picture of what needs to be conveyed, ठीक है. Now there are some supporting groups. Now these groups are not actually being, you know, directly implemented or you can say directly not followed as a part of agriculture. However, they supplement, they add on to the they somehow they help to increase the yield, you can say, ठीक है. तो उसको बोलते हैं allied, ठीक है, allied sector, allied agriculture groups, ठीक है. यहाँ पे फॉर एग्जांपल हो जाएगा आपका agricultural engineering, ठीक है. the machineries that are being formed that can be utilized in your field at different steps, at different processes, and of course that is going to help you produce more yield with lesser efforts that are being utilized, ठीक है. बिकॉज देखो आपका मशीनरी से कोई भी काम होगा वो आपका एक सिस्टमैटिक वे में होगा. मैनुअली ऑल्सो थिंग्स आर डन, बट ऑफकोर्स दे टेक मोर टाइम ऑल्सो एंड दे आर लेस प्रिसाइज ऑल्सो. ठीक है, तो एग्रीकल्चर इंजीनियरिंग इज योर allied agriculture group, and along with that home science also. Home science deals with all the produce that are being that you get from agriculture, how you can actually get the maximum nutrient out of it. So this is about the home science. ठीक है, now if you look at the question again, what was the question? Which of the following is the branches of agriculture that comes under allied group? So now we have understood कि देखो आपका जो first तीन है, agronomy, horticulture and your जो forestry है, that comes under your crop production. ठीक है, I hope this now concept it is also clear. ठीक है, next question is, what is the name of the branch of horticulture which deals with the production and marketing of fruits? ठीक है, I'm getting answers. Maximum of you are saying C, and here in YouTube also. Yes, everybody is saying C. Yes, pomology is indeed the right answer to this. ठीक है, अब देखो बात करते horticulture की. ठीक है, horticulture it is a part of agriculture, but now there are some specific crops only that we are talking about. ठीक है, तो horticulture भी if you further look at it has been divided into 8 categories. ठीक है, first of all is floriculture. So from the name itself you can have an understanding we are talking about flowers. ठीक है, so production management. ठीक है, of what, of the flowers, it is known as what, floriculture. Now in examination, see, you have to remember these terms. They can directly ask you, as the question that you have looked at, right? Production of fruits is known as what? Production and cultivation of vegetables is called what? So such questions, one-liners can be expected in examination, have been asked in previous years also. Okay? Floriculture, it deals with your flowers. Then arboriculture. Okay? Next, if we talk about arboriculture, so see here, usually many people, they get confused. See, when we are focusing on any individual tree, shrub, okay, or any plant, okay, any sort of plant, when we are focusing on the maintenance of the individual, that one tree, shrub, plant, we call it what? We call it arboriculture. ठीक है, तो arboriculture deals with single maintenance of a single unit. ठीक है, उसको बोलते हैं arboriculture. Next is your landscape horticulture. So landscape horticulture, it includes all the plants that are used to make a particular landscape beautiful. Okay, for example, देखो Japanese barberry है, we have Chinese these flowers variety that can be utilized, ठीक है, in your landscape horticulture. अब difference क्या होगा floriculture और landscape horticulture में? देखो in landscape horticulture also flowers can be utilized, right? But the difference is here the aim is to make that particular landscape beautiful. Okay, but in the case of your in your first case, which is of your floriculture, the aim is to produce flowers and cut them and sell them. ठीक है, I hope you understand the difference between the two, between the floriculture and landscape horticulture. Then we have olericulture, which deals with the production of your vegetables. ठीक है, vegetable से कौन deal करता है? Olericulture. Pomology आपसे किससे deal करता है? The which was the question also, that is your fruits. ठीक है, pomology, the production and cultivation of fruits is known as what? It is known as pomology. ठीक है, viticulture, it focuses on specifically. अब देखो तुम ये कह सकते हो कि pomology तो generic of all the fruits that we are talking about. Okay, but if we specifically talk about grapes, it is known as what? It is known as viticulture. ठीक है, specific to grapes, viticulture. In general, all the fruits, it is what? It is known as pomology. ठीक है, understand the difference? ठीक है, नेक्स्ट आपके पास एक टर्म है इनोलॉजी. ठीक है, अब देखो इनोलॉजी में आपका किससे डील करता है? इट डील्स विद योर वाइन एंड इट्स प्रोडक्शन. ठीक है, यहाँ पे वाइन प्रोडक्शन की बात कर रही है, एंड ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन सी ग्रेप्स ओवर हियर. ठीक है, यहाँ पे देखो अब अगेन द डिफरेंस बिटवीन इनोलॉजी एंड विटिकल्चर वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड. In case of viticulture, what we are doing, we are just we are cultivating grapes, We are harvesting it, we are selling it. The aim is just to cultivate the grapes. Enology deals with wine and its making. So we have the grapes that we have made now are being used for what purpose? To make wines. ठीक है, now this is the difference. ठीक है, तो in enology please don't get confused that grapes we have for witty, we have the witty culture that is named for it. I'm sorry, okay, viticulture name that has been associated with it, because your enology, it is one step ahead. It talks about its wine and its wine making also. ठीक है, horticulture की एक और branch है, that is your post harvest management. What is harvest basically? ठीक है, harvesting is that stage when your plant is properly matured, whatever grains or whatever produce that is being generated from that plant, you have it is now fully being matured, or at the stage which you want. ठीक है, now you have cut that. This process is known as harvesting. ठीक है, but does it happen that you have just harvested the produce from the plant and you directly sell it into the market? No, it does not happen, right? There is a lot of process that goes in between. It has to be cleaned first, it has to be sorted first according to its size, right? Similar sizes will give you more price. If the sizes are of, if the sizes are not of same nature, so they don't fetch you more prices. ऐसा ऐसा होता है. ठीक है, cleaning करनी होती है, grading करनी होती है, sorting करनी होती है. These are different steps, and of course we are going to understand post harvest management all together in a different chapter, dedicated chapter we have for it. But for the processes that are included, ठीक है, post harvest के बाद जो जो management process होती है, the management process after the post harvesting is done, that is known as what? That is also in altogether a separate branch of horticulture, and it is known as what? It is known as the post harvest management. ठीक है, I hope till now it is clear. Now let's come to another section, and it is, when was ICAR established? Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Yuvraj is saying B, Nidish is saying 1929. All right. Yes, option number second 1929, it is indeed the correct answer to it. ठीक है, अब क्या है ICAR के बारे में थोड़ा समझते हैं. ठीक है, ICAR is what? First of all, you have to understand it is the apex autonomous organization body that we have for agriculture in India. Whatever be the new rules, regulation, whatever things that happens to that has to happen in India, it happens through what? It happens through the ICAR only. ठीक है, वो approval देता है, and it comes under what? It is an autonomous organization under the Department of Agriculture Research and Education. DARE में short form में बोलते हैं, Ministry of Agriculture के अंदर में आता है. ठीक है, how was it established? So during the British Raj, okay, so it was not like that. They were concerned about the agriculture in India and they wanted to get the maximum out of it. Basically, they just wanted to have some research work here, how they can exploit the agriculture in India. ठीक है, so for that what happened? So there was a royal commission that was established. ठीक है, and that royal commission, they did their research and everything. ठीक है, and they produce a report. Okay, and then after it was mentioned in the report, the recommendation said that there needs to be an agriculture institute, specifically research institute here in here. Okay, and hence at that time when this was established on 16th of July 1929, at that time the name was given Imperial Council of Agricultural Research. ठीक है, उस time में Imperial Council of Agriculture Research दिया था. However, after when we got independent, so of course it was said that Imperial, because it means that we are still under the Queen's rule. Okay, so that is why the name Imperial was changed into Indian Council of Agricultural Research. इसका काम क्या है? कोऑर्डिनेट करना, टू कोऑर्डिनेट, टू गाइड, टू मैनेज रिसर्च एंड एजुकेशन. ठीक है, एंड इन ऑल द सेक्टर दैट इज रिलेटेड टू एग्रीकल्चर, बी इट योर हॉर्टिकल्चर, फिशरीज, एनिमल साइंसेस, नॉर्मल द एग्रोनॉमी दैट वी आर, द फील्ड क्रॉप्स दैट वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, एवरीथिंग. ठीक है, अब क्या हुआ? ICAR तो ये एक बॉडी स्टैब्लिश हो गई. नाउ वी नो दैट, राइट? नाउ it can't, like, an individual office can't do anything, right? So what happened? So that is why to have a expanded network of this research system and to actually get the best by the researchers for Indian agriculture, there is a national agriculture research system that has been made by ICAR. Okay, and now this constitute of what? This national agriculture research system, it comprises of, first of all, and of course ICAR will be a part of it, right? Because it has only founded other research इंस्टीट्यूट्स वर मेड आफ्टरवर्ड्स, नेशनल रिसर्च सेंटर्स बने थे, ठीक है। सो अभी देखो इंडिया में देर आर वेरियस यूनिवर्सिटीज दैट आर अंडर आईसीएआर, ठीक है। there are deemed universities also, there are various national research centers here we have in India. For example, like for specific, like we have national research centers specifically for orchids, right? That's in Sikkim, ठीक है। तो ऐसे आपके स्पेसिफिक से नेशनल रिसर्च सेंटर स्पेसिफिकली ऑन कैमल्स, तो कैमल की बात कर रहे तो राजस्थान होगा, राइट? तो आपके स्पेसिफिक ऐसे सेंटर्स हैं इंडिया में, एंड ऑल दीज सेंटर्स एंड आईसीआर क्यूमुलेटली दे आर they form what? They form a national agriculture research system, ठीक है। I hope you understand. So there are various deemed universities, there are various agriculture, horticulture and veterinary that is related to the animals, right? So because they also get ill, right, they also need guide, they also need मेंटेनेंस, राइट? सो इसलिए वेटनरी इंस्टीट्यूशंस है, नेशनल रिसर्च सेंटर्स वी हैव, ऑल इंडिया कोऑर्डिनेटेड रिसर्च प्रोजेक्ट्स, दे वर launched by government of India for specific, again these are again research project on specific produce that you get in agriculture, ठीक है। अगेन ये AICRP, ये भी काफी सारे, ऑन मेज वी हैव डिफरेंट, फॉर डिफरेंट क्रॉप्स वी हैव डिफरेंट, ठीक है। नेशनल ब्यूरो प्रोजेक्ट डायरेक्टरेट्स, ये सब आपके अभी रन कर रहे हैं इंडिया में, ऑल आर पार्ट ऑफ योर नेशनल एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च सिस्टम, ठीक है। अब देखो, अब यहाँ पे क्या काम आता है आपके नोट्स का, द समरी शीट दैट यू हैव, ओके। नाउ दीज सी देयर आर, because n number of universities and where they are situated, of course just reading out in this live session is nowhere worthy, ठीक है। बट आई विल टेल यू दैट दीज आर प्रेजेंट इन योर नोट्स, ठीक है। आपके नोट्स में ये चीजें प्रेजेंट है। द थिंग दैट यू हैव टू कीप इन माइंड, देखो I'll just tell you the, you know, the honest truth is that questions from this have been asked in examination. They have asked you that this particular, like for example, institute is situated where is the headquarter of this institute. They have, the questions have been asked in the past also, ठीक है। But usually, देखो, in a general, usually what happens, the questions such of headquarters or where they are situated are usually being asked if they are in, they are being present in news, ठीक है, usually उससे होता है। लेकिन we have from our end provided to you everything there, ठीक है। If you feel like, and if you feel like you have the time and you have the energy to memorize all the headquarters and of the institutions and universities and research centers and research projects, ठीक है, you can do that, ठीक है। देखो, अब मैं इसमें ना आपको डायरेक्टली नहीं बोल सकती करना ही करना है, ठीक है। now that's up to you because it will cost you 1 mark. now do you want to risk that 1 mark? ओके, बाय, देखो दो चीजें हो सकती है इसमें, या तो यू वांट, यू हैव द मटेरियल, वी हैव प्रोवाइडेड यू द मटेरियल, एंड इफ यू रीड दैट, मेमोराइज दैट, दैट 1 mark is yours only. one thing is this, ठीक है। another approach is, because it is costing just 1 mark, you, if you want to leave this section and focus on other section, that is also you can do. So I would not directly say do that or skip that, but I've given you two choices, whichever you feel like you, it fits you right, whatever approach fits you right, please follow that. But this we are not discussing in the live sessions, all the universities and everything. You are going to get all these information in your summary sheet, you have that, please go through that, okay? And it's your take if you want to memorize everything, but from my side I will tell you in previous year questions have been asked, ठीक है, questions पूछे हैं, आपका ये कंटेंट आपको summary sheet में मिल जाएगा, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट, गोल्डन फाइबर रेवोल्यूशन इज एसोसिएटेड विद विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग एग्रीकल्चर क्रॉप, ठीक है। यू हैव टू टेल दिस, क्वेश्चंस लाइक दिस हैव बीन आस्क्ड, वन लाइनर, अगेन देखो ये वन लाइनर है आपके, ठीक है। क्वेश्चंस हैव बीन पास्ड इन योर, हैव बीन आस्क्ड, ठीक है, पास्ट में पूछे गए हैं। So here I'm getting the answers. Jute. Okay, so many of you are saying jute. Okay, ठीक है, yes, देखो, दैट इज इंडीड द राइट आंसर, ठीक है। अब पहले बात करते हैं रेवोल्यूशन होता क्या है, ठीक है। देखो क्या होता है, वेन एवर देर इज अ सिग्निफिकेंट चेंज दैट हैज बिन ब्रॉट, ठीक है, कोई सिग्निफिकेंट चेंज जब लाया जाता है किसी भी सेक्टर में, दैट इज नोन एज व्हाट, दैट इज नोन एज अ रेवोल्यूशन, ठीक है। अब जो ये रेवोल्यूशन है, ये आपका किस लेवल में हो सकता है, देखो टेक्निकल लेवल में भी हो सकता है, ठीक है। कोई न्यू टेक्नोलॉजीज हैव बीन एडेड, ठीक है, टेक्नोलॉजीज हैव बीन एडेड, आपका उसमें प्रोडक्शन आपने इंक्रीज करा है, ठीक है, प्रोडक्शन में आपने इंक्रीमेंट लाया है, ठीक है। इन सब चीजों के बेसिस में आप क्या कहते हैं, कोई न्यू इन्वेंशंस आपने कर दी हैं, कोई न्यू डिस्कवरीज हो गई हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल न्यू डिस्कवरी, न्यू इन्वेंशन ऑफ द न्यू वेराइटीज, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दोस वेराइटीज नाउ द प्रोडक्शन इज मोर, ठीक है, ये सब चीजें क्या होती हैं आपकी, दिस इज नोन एज योर रेवोल्यूशन, ठीक है, इनको क्या बोलते हैं, रेवोल्यूशन। सो देयर आर डिफरेंट नेम्स दैट हैव बीन गिवन to the to revolutions. We are going to understand some of them, ठीक है, कुछ कुछ आपको यहाँ पे मैं मेंशन है, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल योर ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन टर्म, इट इज एसोसिएटेड विद योर फूड ग्रेन्स, ठीक है, जो आपके फूड ग्रेन्स हैं उनको क्या बोलते हैं, दे आर नोन एज योर ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट अप वी हैव रेड रेवोल्यूशन विच इज एसोसिएटेड विद योर मीट as well as tomato. देखो, you have to understand that same name can be given to more than one type of produce. Why? Because here you can see meat, it is red in color, that is why red revolution and name has been given, ठीक है। Similarly tomato is also red in color, that is why for tomato also we use the red revolution, ठीक है। अब पहले मुझे ये बताओ, फादर ऑफ ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन इन वर्ल्ड कौन है, एंड फादर ऑफ ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन इन इंडिया कौन है? Yes, Yuvraj, Norman E. Borlaug, yes. He is the father of green revolution of world, and MS Swaminathan, Yuvraj and Siddharth, yes, both are right. ये क्या है, इंडिया के आपके fathers हैं, ठीक है, of green revolution. They were the one to bring the revolution, to bring this significant change in the production in the world as well as in India, ठीक है। Next है आपका round revolution, तो नाम से ही समझ में आता है, something which is round. So what the first thing of an agriculture produce that can come in your mind? So that is a potato, ठीक है। So potatoes is a round revolution, it is associated with potato, ठीक है। Then we have gray revolution, that is associated with fertilizer, means how to actually utilize the fertilizer in the field to get the maximum benefit, to utilize the fertilizer, because ultimately what is fertilizer? Nutrients provide, we are providing nutrients into the field to the plants with the help of fertilizer, right? To how to optimize them in the best way, okay, so that the plants nutrition need can be fulfilled, is known as what, your gray revolution, which is associated with fertilizer. Then we have yellow revolution. देखो, what was the catch in the question, ठीक है, first of all वहां पे फाइबर वर्ड लिखा हुआ था, ठीक है। अब देखो, हर चीज जो गोल्डन गोल्डन है, येलोइश कलर, यू माइट फील दैट दिस माइट बी द आंसर, बट हेयर येलो रेवोल्यूशन किससे, आपके ऑयल सीड से। एंड हेयर ऑल्सो इफ आई स्पेसिफिकली टॉक अबाउट हेयर, देखो वैसे तो ऑल द ऑयल सीड्स, व्हाट आर ऑयल सीड्स? such seeds from which oil can be extracted, ठीक है, these are known as your oil seeds. Here also but the maximum focus will be on mustard and sunflower. तो देखो, मस्टर्ड और सनफ्लावर में आपका क्या होगा, मैक्सिमम इसमें जो है इनपुट दिया जाएगा, फोकस किया जाएगा। राइट, नेक्स्ट वी हैव व्हाइट रेवोल्यूशन, ठीक है, रिलेटेड टू योर मिल्क, एंड इट इज ऑल्सो एन ऑपरेशन वाज ऑल्सो रैन बिकॉज ऑफ दैट, ठीक है। कौन सा था, उसको ऑपरेशन फ्लड बोलते हैं, ऑपरेशन फ्लड। तो अगर पूछेंगे इन योर एग्जामिनेशन, इफ इट्स बीन आस्क्ड ऑपरेशन फ्लड इज एसोसिएटेड विद विच एग्रीकल्चर रेवोल्यूशन, सो इट इज व्हाट द आंसर विल बी मिल्क, ठीक है। युवराज, आई जस्ट क्लियर दैट, ठीक है, अभी मैं क्लियर करती हूँ। व्हाइट रेवोल्यूशन, मिल्क, ऑपरेशन फ्लड। अब इसका फादर ऑफ व्हाइट रेवोल्यूशन और ऑपरेशन फ्लड, इफ एनीबडी कैन टेल मी। Yes, Levin. Verghese Kurien, he is the father of Operation White Revolution or the Operation Flood. Yes. ठीक है, इसके अलावा भी we have blue revolution that is related to aquaculture. So blue you can imagine, ठीक है, so we are talking about water, ठीक है, water की बात चल रही है। blue revolution है, that is related to your aquaculture, ठीक है, aquaculture से related है। Next we have brown revolution, ठीक है, तो brown revolution is also associated with the coffee, ठीक है, एंड इट इज ऑल्सो एसोसिएटेड विद कोकोआ। कोकोआ से आपका क्या बनता है, चॉकलेट, कोकोआ से आपकी चॉकलेट बनती है। कोकोआ के लिए भी है, कॉफी के लिए भी। इनफैक्ट ब्राउन रेवोल्यूशन इट इज ऑल्सो इज यूज्ड फॉर लेदर, ठीक है, लेदर का जो मेकिंग होता है विद द स्किन ऑफ द एनिमल्स, दैट इज इवन कम अंडर द ब्राउन रेवोल्यूशन ओनली। हाउएवर आपको अभी जो ध्यान रखने हैं, कॉफी एंड आपका कोकोआ याद रखना है, ठीक है। देन वी हैव your golden fiber revolution. And the reason I added this picture to let you show that how actually jute look like. So as you can see, it looks like something goldenish in color. That is why the name has been given golden fiber revolution. ठीक है, because of the color जो इसका दिखता है. ठीक है. Next up we have for pulses we have protein revolution. ठीक है, so that high production of pulses can be done. ठीक है, ये अभी recently in recent years also only protein revolution has come into action. ठीक है. Pink revolution जो है आपका, it is associated with yes Nidish, leather also comes under brown only. Okay. पिंक रेवोल्यूशन क्या है आपका, अनियन है. ठीक है, अनियन बिकॉज इट लुक्स लाइक दिस पिंकिश इन कलर एंड ऑल्सो इट इज रिलेटेड टू योर प्रॉन. ठीक है, प्रॉन भी आपके पिंकिश कलर के होते हैं. सो पिंक रेवोल्यूशन कैन बी यूज फॉर अनियन, कैन बी यूज फॉर प्रॉन. एंड हियर आई ऑल्सो वांट टू ऐड दैट इज बिकॉज यू विल फाइंड इन मेनी सोर्सेज दैट इज मीट इंडस्ट्री. सो नाउ वी हैव अंडरस्टूड कि फॉर प्रोडक्शन ऑफ मीट वी हैव द रेड रेवोल्यूशन. ठीक है, wait, I think there's some problem with the camera. Give me a second. Yeah, I think it's fine now. Yeah. So what is the difference between the pink revolution that is associated with meat and a red revolution we have? Okay. The red revolution that is associated with meat, it talks about having good quality of meat. Like it is before, before killing the animal. Till then, how much input you are giving so that it will produce the best quality meat. It is known as red revolution. But after that, when it reaches to the industry and whatever processing is done, that comes under your meat industry and it comes under your pink revolution. ठीक है, if you do not get this, please ask me, I'll just let you know. But I hope you have understood the difference between this meat industry which falls under the pink revolution and the meat production which comes under the red revolution. ठीक है. Yes, processing of meat comes under pink revolution and the production of meat comes under the red revolution. ठीक है, इसके अलावा what else we have understood? Pink revolution is also associated with onion. It is also associated with prawn. ठीक है. Now next comes the golden revolution. ठीक है. Now golden revolution, it is associated with three things. ठीक है. Fruits, however, देखो fruits also come under horticulture crops, right? But however, if in examination it's been mentioned that golden revolution and in the option only fruits is given, then also it is a right answer. Or if they ask you which revolution is associated with fruits, it is golden revolution. So देखो question can be asked in any form. ठीक है, they can ask you golden revolution, then they can give you the option, or they will give you the produce name and then they will ask you that which revolution is associated with it. ठीक है, तो golden revolution is associated with your fruits also, with your honey also, and with your horticulture crops also. ठीक है. Now Yuvraj has asked that yes, sweet revolution is related to your honey. ठीक है, तो yes, recently government of India, they have come up with focusing more on honey also. So they have come up with this name sweet revolution. ठीक है, तो अगर हनी से आपका स्वीट भी आप कह सकते हैं, you can also say sweet revolution also, but yes, golden revolution is also associated with honey only. ठीक है, so I hope in the examination you won't be confused. They would not give you two options. They would not give you golden revolution also, they would not give you sweet revolution also to make you confused. They will just give you one option only. ठीक है, so you need not to worry. So these were some of the revolutions that we have seen. Now the next topic that comes under the introduction to agriculture is about knowing the fathers of various disciplines. ठीक है, so here it has been asked who is known as the father of genetics. I can already see the answer. Everybody is saying option number 1. ठीक है, yes, option number 1 is indeed the correct answer. Gregor John Mendel है, he is known as the father of genetics. ठीक है, by this question what we have understood, देखो whatever question I am asking means those are the concepts that are important to know in this particular chapter. ठीक है, so we started off with the basics. Then we understood the different branches of both agronomy, of both agriculture and horticulture. Then we looked at what are the different revolutions that are there, right? And now we are understanding the different fathers. Okay, yes, yes, I've got it. Okay, and we also understood, yes, about ICR, a little bit history of how agriculture it is running in India. What are the different NARS, the NRS system consists of what the different institute. ठीक है, ये सारी चीजें देखी. अब हमको करना है fathers. ठीक है, fathers पूछे गए हैं previous year mein, nothing, whatever we are doing have, it's not like that they have been not asked in examination. Everything has been asked in the examination. Okay, so we are going to discuss some of the important disciplines and the fathers. However, in your summary sheet you will find more. ठीक है, तो उनको भी एक बार read कर लेना. These are the most important ones, but please go through them also, right? Just for being on the safer side. तो आपके एग्रोनॉमी है, आपके पीटर डे क्रेजेंसी जो है आपके, वो आपके ही इज द फादर ऑफ एग्रोनॉमी. ठीक है, देन अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वी हैव फॉर प्लांट फिजियोलॉजी वी हैव स्टीफन हिल्स. फॉर जेनेटिक्स वी हैव ग्रीगर जॉन मेंडल. ठीक है, जीजे मेंडल. देन फॉर ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन वी नो in the world it is Dr. N.E. Borlaug, Norman E. Borlaug. ठीक है, for in India it is M.S. Swaminathan. ठीक है, then we have C.T. Patel for cotton hybrid. ठीक है, इसके अलावा फॉर गोल्डन राइस, सो हु इन्वेंटेड यू कैन से गोल्डन राइस, इट्स इंगो पोर्टिकस. ठीक है, इसके अलावा वी हैव म्यूटेशन थ्योरी गिवन बाय ह्यूगो डे व्रेस. देन वी हैव हाइब्रिड राइस, इट वाज मेड बाय युआन लोंगपिंग. एंड वी हैव फॉर माइक्रोबायोलॉजी लुइस पास्चर. एंड फॉर व्हाइट रेवोल्यूशन डॉक्टर वर्गीस कुरियन. ठीक है, दीज आर सम ऑफ द many names, okay, of the fathers of various discipline. In your notes you will find more. Please go have a look at that them, but ये आपके जो है most important ones है. ठीक है, next, now अब next question is associated with a particular date. So in your examination, especially last year, it has been observed that now they are asking you special days also, like which day is celebrated to commemorate the anniversary of which famous personality. ठीक है, तो okay, so it's Yuvraj favorite prime minister. Okay, so yes, the correct answer, whoever is saying 23rd of December, I'm really happy. You all know the answer. Yes, 23rd December is indeed the right answer. ठीक है, National Farmers Day, it is celebrated on 23rd December to commemorate the birth anniversary of Chaudhary Charan Singh, who was our 5th PM. ठीक है, अब इससे हमको क्या सीखने को मिलता है? By this question we understand that we have to remember some important days, date and days. ठीक है, तो February 10th it is celebrated as what? It is celebrated as World Pulses Day. ठीक है, then we have March 21st, it is celebrated as International Day of Forest. March 22nd is celebrated as World Water Day. 22nd of April it is celebrated as World Earth Day. ठीक है, 26th of April International Seeds Day. 1st June is celebrated as World Milk Day. Then we have 5th June celebrated as World Environment Day. 1st July celebrated as International Fruit Day. 2nd September World Coconut Day. 15th October International Day of Rural Women. 26th October World Food Day. 26th November National Milk Day. 3rd December is National Agriculture Education Day. ये आपका ना लास्ट ईयर का क्वेश्चन है. It was asked that National Education Day is celebrated to commemorate the birth anniversary of whom? This was the question. So I'm telling you what sort of questions can be made. ठीक है, कैसे भी questions आपके बन सकते हैं. They can ask you to commemorate the anniversary of which personality. They can ask you which day is celebrated to commemorate the birth anniversary of this personality, or they can ask you on which day. ठीक है, तो कुछ भी पूछा जा सकता है. You should be thorough with everything. National Agriculture Day होता है to commemorate the birth anniversary of a first agriculture minister, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. ठीक है, 5th December is known as World Soil Day. 23rd December आपका क्या होता है? National Farmers Day, किसान दिवस के तौर में मनाया जाता है. ठीक है, I hope it is clear. Now, by okay, so there must be some other question also. Wait a second. I'll just close the video for a while. ठीक है, मैं एक मिनट के लिए मैं stop share कर रही हूँ. Please give me a minute because there's one more question. ठीक है, आपके क्वेश्चंस ना कुछ ऊपर नीचे हो गए थे, तो उसको मैंने सीक्वेंस में डाल दिया है, बिकॉज फिर अब सेकंड, इफ विल स्टार्ट सेकंड चैप्टर एंड देन विल डू क्वेश्चंस ऑफ फर्स्ट चैप्टर, तो फिर वो थोड़ा इट विल बी मिसमैनेज्ड. सो अगेन, नाउ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग क्रॉप. अब यहाँ पे ना थोड़ा देखो, इसका कंफ्यूज, इसका वो प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा, ठीक है, नंबरिंग का. सो आई करेक्ट इट व्हेन यू विल गेट द पीडीएफ, इट विल बी इन द करेक्ट फॉर्म ओनली. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग क्रॉप इज नोन एज द किंग ऑफ सीरियल्स. यू हैव द ऑप्शंस. Now, from this, what you have understood that under the introduction to agriculture, you also have to do these one-liners, the names that have been, or you can say the kind of designation that has been given to different types of crops. ठीक है? So here you have to choose which of the following crop is known as the king of cereals. I'm getting mixed response over here. ठीक है, एक बार देख लेते हैं सारे. ठीक है, यहाँ पे देखो, you these are the famous names and these are the names of the crops. King of cereal is wheat. ठीक है, क्वीन ऑफ सीरियल क्या है, मेज है. किंग ऑफ कोर्स सीरियल्स, कोर्स मतलब होते हैं जो आपके मोटे अनाज होते हैं, बेसिकली मिलेट जिनको बोलते हैं, that is those are known as your core cereals. Sorghum is the right answer to that. ठीक है, कैमल क्रॉप किसको बोलते हैं, that is also sorghum. sorghum हिंदी में क्या होता है आपका, ज्वार होता है, राइट, ज्वार होता है. तो that is your camel crop, also known as camel crop. King of pulses is what, king of pulses is your chickpea. Queen of pulses is what, it is your pea. देन वी हैव किंग ऑफ ऑयल सीड्स. ठीक है, किंग ऑफ ऑयल सीड्स क्या होता है आपका, सिसमे जो होता है, तिल जिसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं, वी कॉल इट तिल इन हिंदी, दैट इज योर किंग ऑफ ऑयल सीड्स. ठीक है, देन किंग ऑफ वीड्स. ठीक है, तो वीड आर व्हाट, वीड आर बेसिकली योर अनवांटेड प्लांट्स that are there in the field, those are known as weeds. ठीक है, congress grass is known as the king of weed because it is widely present. Then we have king of fodder crops. Okay, what is fodder crop, basically the crop that is used or that is cultivated for the animals, for the consumption by the animals, that is known as your fodder. ठीक है, जो भी घास लगाते हैं एनिमल्स के लिए, नेपियर ग्रास हो गई और बरसीम हो गई, दीज आर ऑल कंज्यूम्ड बाय एनिमल्स, दीज आर योर फॉडर क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, उसका किंग ऑफ फॉडर क्रॉप कौन है, इट इज योर बरसीम. देन वी हैव क्वीन ऑफ फॉडर क्रॉप एज वेल, विच इज योर ल्यूसरीन. ठीक है, these are all grasses only. ठीक है, not just grasses because then again it comes in technicality. ठीक है, आपकी जो grasses होती हैं that is in your poaceae family and then these are part of your लेग्यूमिनेसी फैमिली, तो उस सब चीजों में नहीं जाते हैं, बस नॉर्मल समझ लो जो क्रॉप्स है, फॉडर क्रॉप्स है. बरसीम जो है वो किंग है आपका, और जो क्वीन है वो कौन सी है, ल्यूसरेन है. ठीक है, फेमाइन रिजर्व है आपके मिलेट्स. बेसिकली व्हाट हैपेंस, फेमाइन रिजर्व्स मींस व्हाट, बिकॉज सी मिलेट्स दे रिक्वायर वेरी little water, they require very less amount of water. In fact, the maintenance of millets are very low. Okay, that is why these are known as famine reserves, because in such conditions millets can be grown very easily. Okay, and in fact, having low maintenance, they are very rich in nutrients. So somewhere where there's lack of food and if they have millets to consume, they would have all the needs of the nutrients that are required. Then white gold of America is what, it is your cotton. Okay, apart from that, there are some other important names as well. For example, thorny oil seed crop किसको बोलते हैं, safflower को बोलते हैं. Vegetables meat किसको बोलते हैं, cowpea को नाम देते हैं. Poor man meat किसको बोलते हैं, सोयाबीन को मिलते हैं. Poor man substitute for ghee is what, your sesame, that is your til. Poor man food, pearl millet. ठीक है, food pearl millet है, please keep in mind. Meat is your soybean. फूड क्या है, पर्ल मिलेट है. वंडर क्रॉप इज सोयाबीन. येलो ज्वेल ऑफ अमेरिका इज सोयाबीन. ड्रोसोफिला ऑफ प्लांट ऑफ क्रॉप प्लांट इज मेज. देन वी हैव बैकबोन ऑफ अमेरिका मेज. वी हैव crosset of coarse millet kodo. We have small holders irrigated crop oil palm and golden fiber jute. Now देखो, this is something that I have read because there is actually, these are self-explanatory, right? I hope you understand there is nothing to explain. These are just name given to certain crops. ठीक है, and there's nothing to be explained in this, and that is why I've usually kept lesser of such questions where I just need to read, because these are some things that can be done on your own. However, questions are can be asked, have been asked from this particular section, and that is why we have covered it. Okay, now the next question that we are doing, a drosophila is a kind of insect, live in. Then we have next, which of the following cell organelle is present only in plants? I'm getting yes. ठीक है. Yes, whoever has said cell wall, that is indeed the right answer. See, why we have asked, why we have added this particular question? Because last year there was a question on chlorophyll. Okay, so of course chlorophyll, because it is directly associated with your photosynthesis. So this particular, about this particular component has been asked. ठीक है. So that is why we are covering. ठीक है. क्लोरोफिल और न्यूक्लियस दोनों, एक्चुअली आपके क्लोरोफिल और न्यूक्लियस के भी बारे में आपसे पूछा गया है प्रीवियस ईयर में. सो व्हाट वी हैव डन, वट एवर भी, देखो एक सेल होता है. ठीक है. व्हाट इज सेल? इट इज द बेसिक यूनिट ऑफ एनी लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म दैट वी हैव. ठीक है. तो बेसिक यूनिट उसकी सेल होती है. नाउ दैट सेल हैज वेरियस components under this. Now these components are known as what? These components are known as organelles. ठीक है. Organelles बोलते हैं इनको. And these are the names of the important organelles. And whenever the question will be framed, ठीक है, तो ये क्वेश्चन किससे आएगा? इसी से बनेगा आपका. ठीक है. तो ये आप एक बार आप इस कंटेंट को देख लीजिएगा. न्यूक्लियस एंड देयर फंक्शंस आल्सो. नोइंग द फंक्शंस आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके, इवन इफ यू डोंट नो द structure are just to give you the, you can just imagine how they look like. Okay, but the functions are very very important. Okay, but go through structure also, because some of the things, for example, the mitochondria are double membrane organelle. So such questions can be asked, that which of the following is a double membrane organelle. So you should know that if the option is just mitochondria is present there, so of course you would know that. ठीक है. तो structure भी देख लेना एक बार, functions भी देख लेना. If you want me to explain these things in the next session, you can ask me, I'll definitely do so. ठीक है. But currently again I would be like, it would be like just reading out the information that you can already do so. ठीक है. तो इसमें कुछ explain करने के लिए है नहीं. If you will just read out, you will understand the functions. ठीक है. For example, endoplasmic reticulum, it is a support channel. What is the support channel? So basically what happens, देखो, this is a cell and there are different organelles. Okay, now it's a nucleus, and then these organelles also require food. Everything requires food, right? And energy. So how this is being passed on from one to another? So there is a transport chain, kind of a canal you can say, that has been formed. This is known as your endoplasmic reticulum. ठीक है. इसको endoplasmic reticulum बोलते हैं. ठीक है. पावर हाउस ऑफ द सेल किसको बोलते हैं? माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया को बोलते हैं. ठीक है. स्टोरिंग, फॉर स्टोरिंग द डिफरेंट पिगमेंट्स, क्या होता है? आपके प्लास्टिड्स होते हैं. प्लास्टिड्स आर प्रेजेंट ओनली इन योर प्लांट्स एंड नॉट इन योर एनिमल्स. ठीक है. ये डिफरेंस है, फाउंड इन प्लांट्स, स्पेसिफिकली वेयर इट हैज बीन मेंशन किया प्लांट्स में है. ठीक है. तो देयर ओके. Yuvraj, Nidish, I'll check. If it is not present in summary sheet, I'll add. ठीक है. Okay, Anjali, don't worry. After this session, I'll add in the summary sheet. ठीक है. I'll add this. And whatever, if it is not there, please let me know. Whatever we are learning, and I'm telling you that you can refer to the notes. And if it is not present there, please let me know. I'll incorporate just after the session only. ठीक है. I'll add this one. Then ठीक है. ये सब चीजें, centrioles जो होते हैं आपकी, these are present in animal cell, not in the plant cell. ठीक है. ओके, आशीष सिंह, इन द एग्रोनॉमी सेक्शन इट हैज बीन एडेड. ठीक है. तो एक बार बाकी सब एग्रोनॉमी में देख लेना प्लीज. ओके. Now we have done with the first chapter. If there is any confusion, please you can ask me right now. Okay, I'll answer that. And then until then, let's go with the second, which is your agronomy. ठीक है. Now next is your agronomy. Word is derived from which language? अच्छा, एग्रीकल्चर याद है? एग्रीकल्चर किसका था? Anjali, if you feel like that, if you watch the sessions and you go through summary sheet, you need not to make any notes, then it's up to you. But if you feel like that, there's something, some points that you have to remember and it's important, then you can make notes. Otherwise, I would say watch the session, revise through summary sheet, it is enough. Yes, Nidish, agriculture was Latin. Okay. Yes. But here in this case, your जो आपका एग्रोनॉमी वर्ड है, इट इज फ्रॉम ग्रीक. ठीक है. ये आपका डेराइव्ड होता है, ग्रीक से होता है. ठीक है. Here, what is this agronomy? It is the branch of agricultural sciences. We have understood, right? Agronomy, horticulture, all these are part of your agriculture, branch of your agriculture sciences only, right? So agronomy, if we specifically talk about, it deals with the principles and practices, whatever principles that are followed while cultivating a crop. What are the practices that are followed of crop production and managing the field? It is known as what? It is known as your agronomy. ठीक है. ध्यान रखना, agronomy deals with the field management environment. And please keep one thing in mind, that we in agronomy just talk about the field crops that we have already understood. If not, in the further slides we have proper divisions based on the produce, ठीक है? तो उससे आपको और clarity मिल जाएंगी that what are the examples of field crops, ठीक है? So agronomy, I hope you have got the definition, ठीक है? Petro de Crescenzi, we have understood, he is known as the father of agronomy, ठीक है? And what is a crop? So basically crop is the plant that is grown in a field at a larger scale, ठीक है? In a field it is known as a crop, ठीक है? और जो lastly where you have to understand the basic of this is agronomy is derived from a Greek word agros, and it means, agros means what? Agros means field, and nomos means management. So management of the field is known as what? Agronomy, ठीक है? And here again we talk about all the principles and the practices, okay? And yes, Assis has highlighted a very important definition which we'll just look at it, and it has been asked in one of your previous year questions, okay? It includes your crop science, okay? The branches of agronomy, if we talk about, means what are the things that have been kept in mind. It includes your crop science, means you understand like what is the requirement of crop, will it be grown in such environment or not, right? What is the water requirement? So every requirement of, or you can say of a crop is comes under what? It comes under your crop science, okay? Next, it also agronomy, one more branch which agronomy has, it is your is your soil science, ठीक है? Soil science में basically क्या है? To take care, like if the soil has optimum need, whatever be the requirement of the plant or not. Means, for example, if the pH of the soil is optimum or not, is there, it's like many salts are present in soil and it is unsuitable for any plant to grow, ठीक है? Does it have proper space, pore space between in them, so that if the plant grows it can get the water, it can get the air, ठीक है? The soil science is also part of your agronomy. And also the environmental science, for example, if the relative humidity of the place is enough or not for the plant to grow, is that a dry climate that is there? So if it is a dry climate, which particular plant will be suitable there, है ना? So that is why if you look at the agronomy, it is actually the center theme of agronomy is what? Soil, crop, environment, relationship. And let me tell you, this is one of your previous year question. आपका एक previous year question है कि which of the branch of agriculture it deals with the soil, crop, environment, relationship. मतलब ऐसे कुछ somewhat ऐसा क्वेश्चन था, बट दिस पर्टिकुलर ये जो तीन वर्ड है ना, सॉइल, क्रॉप, एनवायरमेंट एंड दिस फोर्थ वर्ड रिलेशनशिप, दिस वाज मेंशन्ड एंड द आंसर वाज एग्रोनॉमी, ठीक है? तो एग्रोनॉमी has three branches which talks about, which deals with the crop science, which deals with the soil science, and which deals with the environmental science, ठीक है? अब देखो आज के सेशन में, and in fact the agronomy chapter that we will do, we will focus more on the crop science, ठीक है? Why? Because we have a dedicated chapter for soil science, ठीक है? And environmental science के लिए भी in further we have a dedicated chapter. Means this is not specific one chapter we have, but environmental science you will understand agrometeorology में थोड़ा समझेंगे, थोड़ा seed and technology में. Means आपका environmental science will be scattered between the chapters. Dedicated chapters we have soil science. That is why in this agronomy chapter we will focus more on the soil science, ठीक है? Now let's come to the next question, and it talks about products of the plants that are used to provide flavor and sometimes the color of fresh preserved food are called. Dekho, now we have understood what is agronomy, right? Now we have classified the crops on different bases. Okay, so first basis that we have from which this question has been made, this first classification, it is based on the type of you can say produce we get. ठीक है, देखो classification जो है, let me just type, classification can be done on various levels, on various basis. For example, उसका कौन से season में होती है, in which season it is grown, right? Its life cycle is completed on how many cycles, ठीक है, कितना, in how many years, then on its botanical classification, right? There are various classification. This one specifically talk about which produce are we getting from that particular plant, ठीक है? So this particular classification is based on that. So of course we are going to touch all the options, but here I can see yes, everybody is saying right, that is option number C, it is right, ठीक है? Everybody is facing the same problem with the internet, or is it just on the Yuvraj side that there is some internet connectivity? Okay, so if many people will say will look into this matter, let's we move ahead. ठीक है. Now, so what we talked about, देखो इसका आंसर है spices and condiments. So what this was just to touch the topic. Now what is the topic? Based on the use of plants and their products, what is the classification done under agronomy? ठीक है, तो इसमें हमारे different classification है. We will look at them one by one. ठीक है. Here first we will understand first with the cereals. ठीक है, what are the cereal crops? ठीक है, so these are your starchy. ठीक है, इनको बोलते हैं आपके starchy grains होते हैं. These are your starchy grains. ठीक है, these are known as your cereal crops, and under this it comes your rice, wheat, maize. ठीक है, आपके जो ये आपके मोस्ट कॉमन एग्जांपल्स है, एंड ऑल द मिलेट्स एज वी हैव अंडरस्टूड बिफोर हैंड ओनली. ठीक है, आपके जो सारे मिलेट्स हैं वो भी किस में आते हैं? आपके एग्रीकल्चर, जो आपके सीरियल क्रॉप्स है उनके अंदर में आते हैं. ठीक है, दिस इज योर फर्स्ट क्लासिफिकेशन दैट इज डन ऑन द सीरियल क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, एंड जो स्टार्ची ग्रेन्स बोले हैं ना, तो ये बेसिकली जो सीरियल्स होता है ना, आपकी ग्रास फैमिली में आता है. अब ये फैमिली क्या है? बेसिकली देखो, दे हैव सम सिमिलैरिटी, दे हैव सम डिफरेंसेस, राइट? सो इन जनरल, अब देखो साइंटिफिक वे में ले जाना पोएसी फैमिली एंड ऑल दिस, देयर इज नो यूज ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑल दिस, राइट? फ्रॉम द NABARD examination point of view, I'll just simply say they have some similarities, that is why they have been categorized under one group, and that is the grass family. Okay, so wheat, rice, maize, these are the most common examples, and these comes under your grass family. And millets also, which are your cereals, these are also come under your grass family only. ठीक है, next on the basis of produce we have pulses. These are also known as legumes. ठीक है, these are also known as legumes. They belong to the leguminaceae family. ठीक है, तो इसमें आपकी जितनी दालें हैं, all the pulses they come under it. And there is one more important feature of these legumes or the pulse crop, that is these plants, you know, these plants have the ability to fix the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. देखो what happens, they don't directly fix it, actually they have bacteria, the roots of these legumes, they are in association with bacteria. ठीक है, now there are different types of bacteria, free living, symbiotic. Again, now these things we are going to understand in detail in the further lectures, not in this particular lecture. ठीक है, अभी के लिए you just need to understand there is a speciality of legume crops or pulses crops, that they have, the roots of these crops have the ability to fix the atmospheric nitrogen, the nitrogen that is present in the atmosphere, into the soil. Okay, and once they are fixed in the soil, plants can easily uptake those nitrogen, and they can live off with the activities that occur inside them. ठीक है, तो it is very important. ठीक है, तो legumes का बहुत important feature है. And usually you know what happens, whenever cereals are grown in the field, after that legumes are grown. ठीक है, उसके बाद legumes grow किए जाते हैं, legumes are grown so that whatever be the nitrogen that has been taken up by the cereals, that can be fixed by the leguminous crop. In fact, now in the new cropping system, which we will look at in the next chapter, okay, there we will understand many cases cereals at the same time only. In this case, I was talking that in rotation, next time a legume will be grown. But now cereals along with the legumes are also sown, so that whatever it is taking, it is just replenishing it at the very moment only. Okay, so these are your pulses crops. Again, we are looking at the agronomy plants, the classification of plants based on the produce, the products that they make. Next is the oil seeds crop. We have already told you, right? Oil seeds crop are what? These are the ones which from which seeds oils are being extracted. Now oil seeds crop are also of two types. One is edible, that can be eaten, right? For example, you have for example, what can I give? Olive oil, okay, that can be eaten. Okay, your mustard oil, sunflower oil, all these are edible, and some are non-edible. Means the here the oil is extracted, but there are some toxins present in them. That is when they are not good for consumption, but they can be used for some other purposes. For example, medicinal purpose. For example, castor oil हो गया. ठीक है, castor oil आप उसको as a hair oil use कर सकते हो, right? And it is also it is used in the medicinal purpose also. These are your what? These are your oil seeds crops. ठीक है. Next are your fiber crops that comes under the classification of agronomy. Based on what? Based on the products that they form. ठीक है, तो फाइबर क्रॉप्स में आपका क्या आ जाएगा? जैसे आपका जूट आ जाएगा, कॉटन आ जाएगा, ठीक है, these are the ones that comes under fiber crops. So by that you can understand, है ना, you can understand that from fiber crops we get the fiber. ठीक है, अब इसमें ना when you will look at the notes once or the summary sheet, you will find some details also. Fruit fibers we have, from fruit we derive the fiber, for example cotton. Then we have stem fiber, so here from the stem we derive the fiber. ठीक है, from जैसे आपका हो गया जूट हो गया. ठीक है, फिर आपके कुछ होता है आपके ना लीफ फाइबर्स भी होते हैं, जिसमें कि आपके लीव्स की हेल्प से क्या होता है, आप उसको एक्सट्रैक्ट करते हो. ठीक है, जैसे आपका हेम्प हो गया. ठीक है, तो डिफरेंट टाइप से आपके एग्जांपल्स है विच यू कैन फाइंड इन योर नोट्स एज वेल. देन वी हैव शुगर क्रॉप्स. सो शुगर क्रॉप्स आर द वंस फ्रॉम विच यू डिराइव व्हाट, यू डिराइव शुगर, है ना. सो यू कैन गेट द एग्जांपल शुगर केन, शुगर बीट, दीज आर ऑल योर शुगर क्रॉप्स. देन नेक्स्ट एग्जांपल वी हैव कमर्शियल क्रॉप. देखो कमर्शियल क्रॉप्स आर बेसिकली द वंस विच वेयर 75% और मोर इज बीइंग यूटिलाइज्ड फॉर सेलिंग पर्पस, फॉर द बिजनेस पर्पस. ठीक है, उसको हम कमर्शियल क्रॉप नाम देते थे. नाउ ऑफ कोर्स इफ अ शुगर केन इज बीइंग grown in the field and more than 75% of it is just being sold into the market, of course that can also be an example of your commercial crop only. Similarly cotton, if it is being used 75 to 80 to 90 to 100% is being used just to, you know, collect the fiber and then just to sold it to the textile industry, then of course that will come under commercial crop. So you need to understand that there is no hard and fast classification, of course, but there is different aim, right? And according to the aim the examples can be fitted for more than one type. ठीक है, तो आपका commercial crop भी आपका one of the example है. ठीक है, मीन्स कमर्शियल क्रॉप्स भी आपकी होती हैं. ठीक है, नेक्स्ट यू हैव फॉरेज क्रॉप विच वी हैव ऑलरेडी अंडरस्टूड दैट फॉरेज क्रॉप्स आर यूज्ड बाय द एनिमल्स फॉर द एनिमल्स. ठीक है, फॉरेस्ट क्रॉप्स होती है. ग्रीन मैन्योर क्रॉप्स, अब आपके देखो ग्रीन मैन्योर क्रॉप्स क्या होती हैं, दीज क्रॉप्स आर रिच इन न्यूट्रिशन. ठीक है, रिच इन न्यूट्रिशन. सो बेसिकली व्हाट हैपेंस इन सच केसेस, सच क्रॉप्स आर ग्रोन इन द फील्ड. ठीक है, फील्ड में होंगी and then they are made to die there only. ठीक है, they are made to die there and mix there only so that the value, the nutrient value of the soil will increase. देखो you need to understand that whatever be the nutrients that they are uptaking, such green manure crops, they will be way much lesser to what it will produce as a plant. ठीक है, I hope you get the difference, because I can understand some of you may get confused that if they are taking the nutrient and then mixing to the soil only, so what's the use of that? But it is not the case. Okay, the nutrients that it take are very lesser, and the plants which is finally produced and the production, the food production you can say inside them, it is such that they are way more nutritious. Okay, so that is what is done. These are the green manure. You can understand manure is what it is, the product that is applied into organic product that is applied into the field to increase the nutrition value of the field of the soil, right? तो ग्रीन मैन्योर क्रॉप्स आपकी ऐसी क्रॉप्स है जो कि इस पर्पस के लिए लगाई जाती है. अब इसमें भी ना आपके दो केसेस हैं. इसमें आपका एक इन सिटू है. इन सिटू मींस दे आर ग्रोन देयर ओनली. इन सिटू में क्या होता है, वहीं पे क्रॉप को ग्रो करते हैं, वहीं पे उनको मरने देते हैं. एंड सेकेंड इज एक्स सिटू. एक्स सिटू मींस दे आर बीइंग cultivated somewhere else, they are being harvested and then they are being spreaded into the some other field, and they are spread into some other field and then they are mixed. ठीक है, तो उसको क्या बोलते हैं, ग्रीन मैन्योर क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, अभी तक का कोई कंफ्यूजन है, प्लीज आस्क मी, I'll make that clear. Rest we will go ahead. Nidish, see देखो till now no such examples have been asked. ठीक है, however in your notes it has been present. ढेंचा हो गई आपकी. ठीक है, आपकी बरसीम, ढेंचा, ये सब आपके ग्रीन मैन्योर क्रॉप्स हैं. ठीक है, these are your forage crop में भी आपको बरसीम एग्जांपल हो सकता है. ठीक है, yes, sun hemp is also one such example. It has not been asked as of yet. However, they may ask you the definition, like they can give you the definition of green manure crop and they will ask you that इट इज व्हाट सॉर्ट ऑफ क्रॉप. ठीक है, जैसे अभी क्वेश्चन में आपको कैसे दी थी, जो आपको स्पाइसेस एंड कॉन्डिमेंट्स का दी थी, सिमिलर वे में. ठीक है, सो ग्रीन मैन्योर वी हैव डन एंड नेक्स्ट वी हैव स्पाइसेस. ठीक है, अब देखो एक डिफरेंसेस है स्पाइसेस एंड कॉन्डिमेंट्स में, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके सिद्धार्थ, देखो what is the difference between in situ and ex situ green manure crop? देखो green manure we know that in a field crop are grown, okay, and in case of in situ means in that particular area only, like in that particular area. ठीक है, so here plants are grown, it will be grown there only. Of course there is a life cycle. right? It cannot be once you have grown a particular plant, it will be just grow for n number of years. It will come, it will be grown only for a season, only for a time. Okay, so they are grown there, they are let die there only, and then they get mixed in that particular place only. This is known as in situ green manuring. Ex situ means from outside. Okay, so in such cases, what is done? For example, there is this field. Okay, what I have done, these were my green manure crops. I have cut them down. Okay, I have then entered, I have then applied that in the new field. Like I have not grown those green manures here. I have green manure crops. I have cut it down from some other place. I have not just mixed it into the field. And now, of course, due to the decomposition, which is a natural process, they would die there, they would mix there, right? They would decompose and provide nutrients into the soil. This is known as ex situ green manuring. Okay, from outside. Okay. Yes. Yes, as Yuvraj is also saying. So I hope that's clear. Okay, Siddharth. Okay, I'll move ahead. Spices. Okay, spices are what? These are the products that are utilized while making food. Okay, so these products, spices, will help you to enhance the flavor. ठीक है, flavor को enhance करने के लिए काम आता है. Now, there is a very important difference that is between spices and condiments. Okay, the difference is that देखो, both will be used to enhance the flavor of food, but the difference is spices are used while cooking. For example, your pepper. Okay, you can find the examples here only. You have pepper, you have fenugreek, you have cinnamon, you have cardamom. All these are examples which while cooking you use to enhance the flavor. Condiments are used as sides after the food is cooked. For example, देखो ketchup है. Okay, ketchup in itself, it is made up of tomato. Okay, and we have sauces also, different type of sauces. We have chutney, we have pickles. Okay, these are example of your condiments. These are also used to enhance the flavor of the food that you are eating. But they are not directly being utilized to cook that food. They are being used as side after the food is made, and it is a very clear distinction between spices and condiments. Okay, I hope the difference it is clear. Next question you have now. Again, देखो, what we are doing currently, we are looking at the different classifications we have of field crops, ठीक है, based on different factors. Currently, we have covered the one factor which was based on the products that they produce. Now, the second factor is what? The second factor is require 2 season, means based on their life cycle. Now we are classifying, okay? So I'm already looking at the answer. Yes, option number B are the ones, okay? विराट देखो, scientific name have been asked in past. ठीक है, scientific names just last year they asked that of agronomy. ठीक है, I'm sorry, that of strawberry and of teak also. ठीक है, but it's very subjective, right? So how much, however, the maximum you can do that, but it's very random question, right? That is being asked in examination. Yes, option number B is indeed correct in this particular case. ठीक है, now based on the life cycle, what I can do, okay, I can switch. Okay, देखो, I can switch the camera, but now the camera quality of my laptop, it is very bad. Okay, we can try. If still some problem, if it happens, then we'll look at it. ठीक है, however, I think the slides are clear. That's more important. ठीक है, तो इसे एक बार कर लेती हूँ. So next is crops that require 2 seasons to complete their life cycle are called which type? ठीक है, अब यहाँ पे एनुअल है, बाइनियल है, पेरिनियल है, 2 टाइम है, नन ऑफ दिस है. ठीक है, इसका आंसर है आपका बाइनियल. देखो, बेस्ड ऑन द लाइफ साइकिल देयर आर 3 टाइप ऑफ क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, एनुअल क्रॉप्स, बाइनियल क्रॉप्स एंड पेरिनियल क्रॉप्स. नाउ व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस? एनुअल मींस इन अ ईयर. ओके, सो यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड, एंड दिस हैज बीन क्वेरी आस्क्ड बाय सम ऑफ द एस्पिरेंट्स. ठीक है, दैट इज व्हाई आई एम मेकिंग इट क्लियर. इफ यू ऑलरेडी नो, दैट्स गुड. इफ नॉट, लेट मी जस्ट टेल यू. एनुअल मींस इन अ ईयर. ओके, सो it does not mean that the particular plant will keep on growing for 12 months, but it means that whatever life cycle it will have, it will be within a year only. Okay, within a year. For example, in a if you look at rice, it grows in kharif season. ठीक है, it is not being grown in the rabi season. in general, अब इसमें फिर categorization exceptional, please I don't want you to go in there. In general, rice is grown in kharif season, ठीक है. In rabi season it is not grown, in zaid season it is not grown, ठीक है. So it will come under annual crop only. Annual means once a year. It is you have to understand that annual here not means throughout the year, but it means once a year, ठीक है. So annual crops are those crops which will complete its life cycle. And when we say completed life cycle, it includes your vegetative life cycle also, as well as it includes your reproductive life cycle also, ठीक है. तो complete का मतलब क्या होता है, वेजिटेटिव हुई, रिप्रोडक्टिव हुई, फिर लास्ट में क्या हुआ, सेनेसेंस हुआ, मतलब it becomes to die, you can say, ठीक है. It starts to die, तो वो senescence, it becomes to get old, it becomes to die, whatever you want to say, उसको बोलते हैं complete life cycle. तो annual crops आपके होते हैं, they complete their life cycle within a year, ठीक है. These are your annual crops within a year or season, you can say. Example, we have rice, ठीक है. Rice और paddy में क्या difference होता है? If your rice, that white part that you're looking, if it is covered with husk, it is known as paddy. So your right, the grain as well as the husk, the brown cover it has, if it is together, it is known as paddy. If that brown cover is removed, it is known as what? It is known as rice, ठीक है. तो annual crops में आपके rice आ गई, आपकी wheat आ गई, आपकी maize आ गई, mustard, these are example of your annual crops. Now biennial crops के केस में क्या होता है, देखो, biennial crops require 2 seasons to complete their life cycle. 2 seasons or 2 years, whatever you can say. So in the first year or first season, they just complete their vegetative life cycle, and in the second year they start off with their reproductive life cycle, and that is why they require 2 seasons for such for the purpose, ठीक है. तो इसको क्या बोलते हैं, biennial crops होते हैं. Sugar beet is the best example of it. Then we have perennial crops. So perennial is like once you have sown, now they complete their life cycle and they can live for many years, 3 or more years they can live. So, and whichever crop that that can be lived for 3 or more years, that is known as your पेरिनियल क्रॉप्स, ठीक है. उनको पेरिनियल क्रॉप्स बोलते हैं. एग्जांपल है आपका नेपियर फूड क्रॉप्स हो गए, आपके कोकोनट हो गए, सब एग्जांपल है. पेरिनियल तो आपको कोई भी प्लांट जो ट्रीज होंगे, दे विल कम अंडर इट, ठीक है. So now we have done the classification of the crops based on the ontology or the life cycle. ठीक है, I hope that is clear. Now let's come to the next categorization. So this categorization of the field crops, it is based on what? It is based on your botanical classification. ठीक है. तो उसमें होते हैं 2 क्लासिफिकेशन, कॉटिलेडेंस, मोनोकॉटिलेडेंस, डाइकॉटिलेडेंस. नाउ यू हैव टू डू दैट. गोविंद, सीड डोरमेंसी देखो आपका एग्रोनॉमी का पार्ट नहीं है, वो आपका सीड टेक्नोलॉजी का पार्ट है. हाउएवर देखो, सीड डोरमेंसी क्या होती है, कभी भी जो सीड होता है, ठीक है, सीड को जब तक एक प्रॉपर उसको टेम्परेचर ना मिले, उसको प्रॉपर वाटर कंडीशन ना मिले, प्रॉपर उसको न्यूट्रिएंट कंडीशन ना मिले, वो तब तक ग्रो नहीं होता. तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वो सीड डेड है, इसका मतलब ये है कि उसको प्रॉपर कंडीशंस नहीं मिली कि जो वो ग्रो करे. तो इसको बोलते हैं सीड डोरमेंसी. जैसे ही उसको, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आपको दें, जैसे आपके घर में दालें हैं, ठीक है, उसमें उसमें आप देखोगे वो ग्रो नहीं करते. आप कितने भी टाइम उसको कंटेनर में रख सकते हो. क्यों? क्योंकि उसको मॉइस्चर रिक्वायरमेंट उसका बहुत कम, उसको हमने मॉइस्चर काफी कम दिया, उसमें मॉइस्चर परसेंटेज काफी कम है. लेकिन जैसे हम उसको रात को पानी में रखते हैं, आप देखोगे अगले दिन स्प्राउटिंग हो जाती है, 1-2 दिन में उसमें स्प्राउटिंग आ जाती है ना. उसमें से जो दाल होती है, उसमें सीड्स में से पीछे से क्या आ जाता है, आपके स्प्राउट्स, रूट्स डेवलपमेंट होने लग जाती है, ठीक है, रेडिकल डेवलपमेंट होने लग जाती है. तो इसको बोलते हैं हम. तो इसका मतलब क्या था, इट इज नॉट लाइक दैट द सीड इज डेड, सीड डेड नहीं है. हाउएवर उसकी क्या है, जो उसको कंडीशंस नहीं मिली है, तो तब तक के लिए वो ग्रो नहीं करता, उसको बोलते हैं सीड डोरमेंसी, ठीक है. नेक्स्ट है, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज एग्जांपल ऑफ मोनोकॉटिलेडेंस. आई एम गेटिंग आंसर्स, यस मेज, दैट इज द करेक्ट आंसर, ठीक है. देखो, बोटानिकल क्लासिफिकेशन बेसिक आइडिया क्या है, आई जस्ट टेल यू. देयर आर डिफरेंट फीचर्स, ठीक है. मोस्ट कॉमन वन इज दैट, देखो, in some grains, I would say the end product is grains in almost all the field crops, right? There either you will see one कॉटिलेडन और 2 कॉटिलेडन. कॉटिलेडन का क्या मतलब हुआ, देखो वैसे ना साइंटिफिक मींस, अगर इफ यू गो फॉर द डेफिनेशन, तो कॉटिलेडन बेसिकली इट इज योर इनिशियल लीफ, यू कैन से, एंड इट कंटेन्स ऑल द न्यूट्रिएंट्स. देखो क्या होता है, जब भी सीड बनता है, मैं आपको बहुत सिंपल भाषा में समझाती हूँ. आई ट्राई टू एक्सप्लेन यू इन अ वेरी सिंपल मैनर. व्हेनेवर अ सीड इज फॉर्म्ड, it is only this, like this middle portion is actually, you can say, if you remove the cotyledon, it is just one thread like structure that is there. The upper part will make into the shoot, the lower part will make into the radicle, which is known as radicle. It will make the roots. Okay, but till then it requires some nutrient. It can't just grow on its own. So all the nutrients that it gets from the cotyledons. ठीक है, so cotyledon से initially मिलता है, and it acts as a covering for its for it also. ठीक है, उसको बोलते हैं these are the cotyledons. Now depending on if it is one in number or two in number, the basic classification is there. ठीक है, so mono means one. So such plants, such grains which have just one cotyledon, they are known as monocots. Dicots we have which have two cotyledons. ठीक है, usually your cereals come under your monocotyledons, and your legumes usually क्या मतलब आते ही हैं, your cereals come under your monocotyledons, and your legumes or the pulses they come under your dicotyledon. तो ये इसमें आपको थोड़ा easy पड़ जाएगा to remember, right? Any dal, whatever you have, they will come under your dicots. Any cereal, if they have given you example of maize, millets, rice, wheat, whatsoever, it will come under monocots. ठीक है, इसके अलावा इस botanical classification में just not the cotyledon, but there are some other differences also. देखो तो ये जो differences है, ये embryo का difference, it will be considered as embryos different. Is it monocot or dicot? ठीक है, how many cotyledon does it have? लीफ, अगर लीफ वेनेशन का ये जो लास्ट चार है ना, इसको इतना समझने की जरूरत है नहीं, एग्जामिनेशन में इट विल नेवर बी आस्क्ड, बट जस्ट टू गिव यू ब्रीफ आइडिया. ठीक है, लीफ में भी डिफरेंस होते हैं. जो भी आपके मोनोकॉटिलेडन्स होते हैं ना, उनके जो लीव्स होते हैं ना, उनमें ना जो लाइंस होती हैं, observe it next time. You can easily guess, like even if looking at the leaves, you can guess that the product that it will have, will it be monocotyledon or dicotyledon. उसके जो leaves होंगे ना, उसमें ना parallel venation होती है. Parallel का मतलब क्या होती है, ऐसे सीधी जो लाइन होंगे ना, ये आपस में क्रॉस नहीं करेंगी. I'm sorry, my drawing is bad, and that is why they are just intersecting each other. But if you look at the real one, they would not cross each other. They will be in parallel line. ठीक है. However, if you are looking at any plant leaf, okay, and they are just crossing it, the normal leaf that you make even while making a drawing, these are your dicotyledon. ठीक है, तो veins are net like, यहाँ पे veins आपकी usually parallel होती है. ठीक है, then you have stems. ठीक है, अब देखो क्या होता है इसमें ना, plant also require water, plants also require food, and it is being transferred with the help of xylem and phloem. These are known as vascular bundles. Xylem provides your water, okay, and phloem provides your food. If you can't remember, just please remember the pronunciation food and phloem. So ph pronunciation is in both the cases, है ना, तो आपका phloem क्या पहुंचाते हैं, food पहुंचाते हैं. So both are known as what? These are known as your vascular bundles. Now this you can only observe via microscope. Okay, in the case of monocots, the distribution of these bundles are random. Okay, these are randomly they will be scattered, while in the case of the dicots, they will be arranged in a line by line manner, so you will be able to observe them. So this is one more distinction. Roots, the monocots, they have fibrous root system, so your cereals have your fibrous roots, while your dicots have taproot system, means it will be very deep down and it will have this taproot system. Jabki your cereals, it will be very shallow and they would have the fibrous root system. ठीक है, flowers का क्या arrangement होता है, multiple of 3 में होते हैं. ठीक है, floral parts are usually in the multiple of 3, while in the case of dicots they are in the multiplication of 4 to 5. ठीक है, ये आपके कुछ differences हैं on the basis of monocotyledons. ठीक है, युवराज, cotyledon, it's like you can say this is a leaf. It is called a leaf. It is called an embryo leaf. Okay, I don't want to use the term leaf so that you again don't get confused. In its very definition, it is a embryo leaf. Basically क्या होता है, देखो इसमें ना food products होते हैं, इसमें you can say stored food होता है. Okay, and the embryo derive its food from at the initial time from these cotyledon only. इसको basic layman language में समझना है तो ये समझ सकते हैं. ठीक है. Next we have, which of the following crop is an example of Kharif season? Now the next classification that we are doing on the basis of seasons. ठीक है, अब जो next classification हम कर रहे हैं किसके basis में कर रहे हैं, हम season के basis में कर रहे हैं. And here it has been asked. So Yuvraj has given the right answer. Yes, rice. Ajinkya is saying C. Ashish C. Yes, that is indeed the right answer. Nidish, yes. Rice. Shivs, yes. Everybody is saying right. Rice is the correct answer. देखो अब based on seasons क्या होती है, 3 classification होती है, Kharif crops, Rabi crops और Zaid crops. ठीक है, Kharif crop is associated with your Kharif season, also known as what? Also known as your मॉनसून सीजन और रेनी सीजन। तो रेनी सीजन के टाइम में जो क्रॉप्स लगती है उनको क्या बोलते हैं, खरीफ क्रॉप्स बोलते हैं या खरीफ सीजन बोलते हैं। सोइंग सीजन क्या होता है आपका, जून टू जुलाई होता है। हार्वेस्टिंग सीजन क्या होता है, सितंबर टू अक्टूबर होता है। बेस्ट एग्जांपल्स आर योर राइस, मेज, ग्राउंडनट एटसेट्रा, ये आपके बेस्ट एग्जांपल्स हैं, ठीक है, ऑफ खरीफ सीजन। देयर आर अदर एग्जांपल आल्सो हियर, जस्ट टू गिव यू अ फ्यू, ठीक है। रबी सीजन क्या होता है, रबी सीजन इज एसोसिएटेड विद योर विंटर सीजन, ठीक है। तो आपके विंटर सीजन में जो क्रॉप्स लगती हैं उनको क्या बोलते हैं, रबी क्रॉप्स बोलते हैं। सोइंग सीजन क्या होता है आपका, अक्टूबर नवंबर होता है, ओके। एंड योर हार्वेस्टिंग सीजन इज व्हाट, योर हार्वेस्टिंग सीजन इज योर मार्च टू अप्रैल, ठीक है। एग्जाम्पल्स आपके क्या क्या है, एग्जाम्पल्स है आपके बार्ले, व्हीट, ओट, पोटैटो, बंगाल ग्राम, दीज आर सम ऑफ द एग्जाम्पल्स ऑफ योर रबी सीजन। नेक्स्ट इज योर समर सीजन, जायद सीजन। देखो बेसिकली क्या होता है, दिस इज शॉर्टेस्ट सीजन दैट इज देयर। सो व्हाट हैपेंस बिटवीन योर winter season and your the rainy season, there is some time gap, okay, where you can actually grow some crops, that is your जायद season, also known as your summer season, ठीक है। इसमें कितना है, इसका sowing season है आपका फरवरी टू मार्च होता है, हार्वेस्टिंग सिस्टम मई टू जून होता है। एंड here the examples, देखो इसमें examples जो है ना, these can also be grown, of course these can also be grown there, but the best example आपके इसमें हो जाएगा watermelon का। watermelon आपका इसका best example है, cucumber आपका best example है। these can be grown during the Zaid season. Black gram, green gram, cowpea, why have I eliminated it here, because they are dedicated, they have a dedicated season of them, ठीक है। of course they can be again grown in Zayed, these are the crops that can be sown throughout the time, however the best yield that they produce are in a particular season. For example जैसे हमने black gram, green gram का example we have looked at rabi season, ठीक है। तो ये होती तो जायद में भी है, लेकिन अगर हम बेस्ट एग्जांपल्स की बात करें तो यहाँ वाटरमेलन, कुकुम्बर जो है वो आपको ज्यादा सूट होंगे मस्क मेलन इंस्टेड ऑफ द एग्जांपल दैट यू लुकिंग ऑन द स्क्रीन। नाउ नेक्स्ट क्लासिफिकेशन इज बेस्ड ऑन द CO2 फिक्सेशन, ठीक है। CO2 फिक्सेशन मींस कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड का जो फिक्सेशन होता है उसके अकॉर्डिंग कैम पाथवे कौन फॉलो करता है। देखो अब ये थोड़ा कंफ्यूजिंग हो सकता है अगेन, but we will try to understand in a very basic manner, and there is a lot of things that need to be learned before that, but then again that is not important from the NABARD point of view, and if something is not important from the very examination that we are preparing, तो of course हमको उसमें उतना ध्यान नहीं देना चाहिए, ठीक है। Here I'm looking at maximum of you are saying succulents. Yes, succulents is indeed the right answer. What are the succulents? First of all, we have to understand what are the succulents. These are those crops in which you can find water inside them. कुछ कुछ होते हैं ना आपके जो जिसके अंदर water होता है, एलोवेरा हो गया, कैक्टस हो गया, these are all example of your succulent, ठीक है। नाउ अब देखो इसको तो बहुत बेसिक समझेंगे। देखो क्या होता है, फोटोसिंथेसिस प्रोसेस होती है, ठीक है। फोटोसिंथेसिस प्रोसेस एवरीबॉडी मे नो कि अच्छा एक प्रोसेस होती है जिससे फूड बनाते हैं, ठीक है। नाउ व्हाट हैपेंस इन दैट, carbon dioxide is being taken, water is being taken, and sunlight, with the help of sunlight the electrons are being, basically these H2O is divided, and then food is formed। again इतना डेप्थ में क्यों जाना है, ठीक है। बट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड देयर आर वेरियस साइकिल्स दैट गोज ऑन। केल्विन साइकिल होता है, डार्क रिएक्शन होता है, ठीक है, हिल रिएक्शन जो कि केल्विन साइकिल के अंदर ही आता है, हिल रिएक्शन होता है, ठीक है, लाइट रिएक्शन बोलते हैं जिसको, काफी रिएक्शंस होते हैं। हमको वो सब चीजें नहीं करनी है, बिकॉज abhi at this point we have to just understand what is important from examination point of view, rather understanding the history of it, ठीक है। the basic understanding you have to keep in mind that photosynthesis, the last product that is being formed, the food that is being formed, ठीक है, जो starch होता है, ठीक है, in case of plants, ठीक है, जो glucose starch आप जो भी बोलना चाहें, जो भी बनता है वो it is not made in just one step, there are various steps, and after various steps this final product is formed, ठीक है। अभी बेसिक बस इतना समझो। so based on what will be the first carbon product, we have classification of plants, C3 plants, C4 plants, and camp plants, ठीक है। what is the difference? It means that in C3 plant, whatever be in the first step, the carbon product will be formed, it will be of 3 carbon, ठीक है। फॉर्मूला क्या है देखो, अब ऑक्सैलिक है, ऑक्सैलेट, ये सब दोबारा again no need to go in depth, just you have to understand photosynthesis is a process by which food is formed. Now this food is not directly formed in one step, there are various steps that is present there, ठीक है। In C3 plant, the first product which will be formed in this photosynthesis process, that will be of 3 carbon. 3 carbon compound होगा वो, ठीक है. In case of C4 plants, तो फर्स्ट कार्बन कंपोनेंट आपका कितने कार्बन से फॉर्म होगा? 4 कार्बन कंपाउंड होगा, क्योंकि C4 है, ठीक है. अब कैम प्लांट के केसेस में क्या होता है? इन केसेस ऑफ कैम प्लांट्स, बिकॉज इन डे टाइम इट इज सो हॉट, इट इज सो ह्यूमिड, दैट if the plant open up their stomata for taking in carbon dioxide, the water which is present in there, that will also move out in the form of transpiration. Transpiration क्या होता है? The removal of water from the plant, it is known as transpiration, ठीक है. It kind of a sweating of plant, you can say. Evaporation होता है, normal पानी क्या है? Evaporate हो गया in the form of vapor. Similarly, when in the form of vapor the water is lost from plant, it is known as transpiration, ठीक है. Now in such hot and humid climate, desert like condition, okay, if so again, if in day they open up the stomata are present in leaves, okay, these are the small structure. When they open, exchange of gases happen, but with the exchange of gases, of course, the water will also be moved out with in the form of water vapor, which is transpiration that we have just discussed, right? So in camp plants, what happens during the night time? The plant, they open up their stomata, take in the carbon dioxide how much they want, and then in the daytime they start off this photosynthesis process, ठीक है. तो उसको बोलते हैं कैंप प्लांट्स बोलते हैं, ठीक है. इतना याद रखो. अब अगेन इसमें देखो क्या होता है, डिफरेंट कंपार्टमेंट इन प्लांट्स, देयर आर डिफरेंट कंपार्टमेंट इन विच दीज प्रोसेसेस हैपन. इन मेजर आपकी प्रोसेस कहाँ पे, कौन से कंपार्टमेंट में होती है? मीजोफिल कंपार्टमेंट में होती है, ठीक है. C4 में भी देखो, C3 प्लांट में जो पूरी एक्टिविटी होगी, द होल एक्टिविटी हैपेंस जस्ट इन मीजोफिल कंपार्टमेंट ऑफ द प्लांट. इसको इतना सिंपल समझो, ऑफ द सेल, ठीक है. C4 प्लांट्स में क्या होता है, पहले आपकी मीजोफिल में होती है, वेयर द फर्स्ट प्रोडक्ट इज योर C4, 4 कार्बन कंपाउंड. देन द रेस्ट ऑफ द प्रोसेस हैपेंस इन बंडल शीट, विच इज अनदर कंपार्टमेंट. इसको सिंपली ऐसे समझो, अनदर कंपार्टमेंट में होती है, ठीक है. कैंप प्लांट में क्या होता है आपका? कैंप प्लांट में नाइट टाइम में व्हाट हैपेंस, नाइट टाइम में हियर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इज टेकन, ठीक है, एंड देन इन द डे टाइम मीजोफिल में क्या होता है, आपकी प्रोसेस होती है, ठीक है. तो बेस्ड ऑन कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड फिक्सेशन, देयर आर 3 कैटेगरीज ऑफ प्लांट: C3 प्लांट, C4 प्लांट एंड कैंप प्लांट्स, ठीक है. C3 plant, just simply understand that the first carbon product which will be formed, it is not your end product, it is not the food of the plant, but yes, in the first step the carbon product will be of 3 carbon, ठीक है. तो 3 कार्बन का प्रोडक्ट होगा. इन C4 प्लांट्स द नेम इज गिवन सो बिकॉज द फर्स्ट कार्बन कंपाउंड इज ऑफ हाउ मेनी कार्बन्स? ऑफ 4 कार्बन्स, ठीक है. एंड इन कैंप, एक्चुअली इन कैंप बोथ sorts occur, ठीक है. Now this is the actual classification that you have to keep in mind. देखो 85% जो आपके plants होते हैं ना, these are your C3 plants only, ठीक है. Here you have example of rice, wheat, soybean. You can memorize because once I think once in your examination it was asked that which of the following is a C4 plant, and maize what I think the right answer, ठीक है. पूछा गया ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन, तो इसमें एग्जांपल्स देख लो. C3 प्लांट्स में क्या होता है आपके? राइस, व्हीट, सोयाबीन, विच वी हैव ऑलरेडी अंडरस्टूड, ठीक है. C3 पाथवे फॉलोड होता है, मींस फर्स्ट कार्बन ऑक्साइड इज कार्बन कंपाउंड इज योर C3 ओनली, ठीक है. यूजुअली इन योर कूल वेट एनवायरमेंट्स में होता है. C4 आपके 3% ऑफ द प्लांट्स दैट एग्जिस्ट इन दिस वर्ल्ड, इन दिस अर्थ, दे आर योर 3% C4 प्लांट्स, ठीक है. एग्जाम्पल है आपका शुगर केन, मेज, सोरगम, मिलेट, ठीक है. ये कुछ आपके एग्जाम्पल्स है. एंड देन वी हैव कैंप प्लांट्स, ठीक है. कैंप का एक फुल फॉर्म है क्रोसेशियन एसिड मेटाबॉलिज्म, ठीक है. 8%, अराउंड 8% होता है. मोस्टली आपके सकुलेंट प्लांट्स होते हैं, ठीक है. मोस्टली, प्लीज कीप इन माइंड. एंड हेयर बोथ साइकिल्स आपका C3 C4 चलता है, ठीक है. हेयर देखो आपके सेकंड में C4 में भी आपका C3 C4 लिखा हुआ है, राइट. पता है क्यों? क्योंकि आपका यहाँ इफ यू लुक एट इट, इन मेसोफिल C4 plant is made, while in bundleshell C3 is made, but we keep in mind the first compound only, that is why it is C4 given. तो इसको इतना याद मत रखना कि इसमें दोनों होती है. You need not to keep in mind कि 3-4 C3 दोनों चल रही है. Just remember C3 C4 कैम होता है. Remember why is it called so, and usually the questions are asked from the exception. What we have this misconception in mind that whatever be the maximum, you just read that, but usually the questions are asked from exceptions. So if the question will be framed, it will be from C4 and camp, and rarely it will be from C3 plant. however have been provided examples here, ठीक है, sugarcane, maize, sorghum, millet, these are your C4 plant, and in your scam plants we have cacti, orchids, pineapple, ये सब आपके कुछ examples हैं, ठीक है. Yes, zero fitting, yes ships, those are your zero fitting. Okay, so these are your CO2 fixation. Now let's come to the next question. Such crops are grown to supplement the yield of main crops are known as. Now next we are going to look at for what aim the particular crops are grown. On that basis, what is the classification that is there. Okay. Ishita Siddharth is saying option number C, augment crops. Vikas is also saying augment. Yes. Yuvraj Birachi is saying C. Yes, everybody is saying C. That is your option. Augment crops, yes, that is right. ठीक है, अब इसमें हमको क्या समझना है, बेस्ड ऑन द स्पेशल पर्पस देयर आर द डिफरेंट नेम्स दैट आर बीइंग प्रोवाइडेड. ठीक है, अब हमको देखना है कि उनको क्या क्या बोलते हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, व्हाट आर एरेबल क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, देखो एरेबल क्रॉप्स बेसिकली दीज आर द लैंड classification of land. एक होता है arable land, एक होता है unarable land. Arable land is where the plant can be grown, that is known as a arable field. So what are arable crops? Crops which are cultivated on a plowed land. So these are any crop, there is no such पर्टिकुलर एग्जाम्पल. ठीक है, कोई भी क्रॉप जो किसी फील्ड में लग सकती है उसको क्या बोलते हैं, प्लॉड लैंड में उसको बोलते हैं एरेबल क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, दे कैन बी, दे आर एनुअल क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, सीरियल्स, रूट क्रॉप्स, एनीथिंग, it just need to be that land should be cultivable and you have grown any crop, that is the arable crop. Next, based on special purpose, the another name that we have is aromatic crops. ठीक है, now what are the aromatic crops? These are the plants that contains some odor, means they have some फ्रेगनेंस, सम गुड फ्रेगनेंस. ठीक है, एंड वोलेटाइल सब्सटेंसेस. ठीक है, उनको क्या बोलते हैं, एरोमेटिक. अरोमा, दे प्रोड्यूस सम अरोमा. द बेस्ट एग्जांपल कैन बी मिंट, पुदीना जिसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं. ठीक है, सो दीज आर और योर एरोमेटिक क्रॉप्स. ठीक है, इनको एरोमेटिक क्रॉप्स बोलते हैं. इनमें से ऑयल्स भी निकलते हैं. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेमन ग्रास ऑयल, यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड. सिट्रोनेला का ऑयल भी होता है. इन सबसे आपको फ्रेगनेंस मिलती है. सो दीज कैन बी यूज्ड इन योर परफ्यूम्स ऑल्सो. दीज कैन बी इनफैक्ट used for having some odor in the food also. ठीक है, इन सब चीजों के लिए यूज होता है. I hope you get it. Next, we have augment crops. So basically what happens, such crops are grown to supplement the main crop. What does it mean? That for example, देखो Japanese mustard है, you have grown that. That can be, berseem can be utilized to increase the volume of the produce that has been grown into the field. ठीक है, उसको बोलते हैं augment. तो augment में basically कुछ काम नहीं है. There will be a supplementary crop. There will be a main crop. Okay, but to increase its volume, some supplementary is also being added with it, which will not, interfere with its purpose. For example, if I have to, this same example can be gone for fodder crop. So I have grown Japanese mustard, okay, but with that particular fodder crop I have added some berseem to it. ठीक है, या उल्टा बोल दिया, berseem उगाई, उसमें Japanese mustard we have used. ठीक है, so that will be your augment crop, just to increase the main yield. ठीक है, next we have avenue crop. Avenue crop क्या होते हैं, आपके जो across the roads, fences, आपके जो आपके plants लगाए जाते हैं, those are known as your avenue crops. ठीक है, next we have catch or contingent crops. देखो catch मतलब, what is this catch? Like you are trying to catch something to protect something. or contingent का basically means होता है कोई emergency आना. ठीक है, in the case of some emergency. So what happens, such crops have very short duration, and these are usually, these are grown at the times when the main crop has failed to grow. So of course, if the main crop has failed to grow, that will be in a particular season, right? Then in the next season some new crop has to be grown. Now if all the main crop has now been wasted, so farmer will be at very big loss, right? So it is better to cultivate some other crop to catch the loss, right? To catch that particular season's money, or you can say benefit. Okay, so at that time period, whatever short duration crop is being sown, it is known as what? It is known as your catch crop or the, for example, in 20 to 25 days it will provide you the result. Toria, it is grown very fast. ठीक है, so these are known as your catch or contingent crops. ठीक है, to कैच द फोर्थ कमिंग सीजन व्हेन द मेन क्रॉप हैज फेल्ड, ठीक है, उसको बोलते हैं कैच क्रॉप। नेक्स्ट इज योर कंटूर क्रॉप। देखो कंटूर बेसिकली इट मींस लाइन, ठीक है, तो कंटूर क्रॉप्स दीज आर ग्रोन अक्रॉस लाइन, तो बेसिकली इन स्लोप्स, राइट, सो इन स्लोप्स दीज आर यूजुअली ग्रोन अक्रॉस लाइन सो दैट it can prevent soil erosion also, ठीक है, and the water that is being flown, that is also, you know, its speed is reduced, and of course if water speed is reduced, the soil erosion will also be controlled, ठीक है, तो soil erosion से बचाता है, क्योंकि जैसे पानी जाएगा उसको hindrance मिलता जाएगा, it will get the hindrance at every line with the crops, right, so these are known as your contour crops. Next up we have कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री क्रॉप्स, ठीक है, तो बोथ मेन क्रॉप एंड इंटरक्रॉप दे बेनिफिट ईच अदर, फॉर एग्जांपल ज्वार एंड लोबिया, सो लोबिया इट बिलोंग्स टू योर लेग्यूमिनेसी फैमिली एंड ज्वार इट बिलोंग्स टू योर सीरियल फैमिली। सो द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ इफ यू लुक एट ज्वार विच यू कैन लुक इन द स्क्रीन ऑल्सो, ठीक है, दीज आर वेरी लेंथी, दीज आर वेरी लॉन्ग, राइट, एंड लोबिया इट इज वाइन, वाइन मीन्स बेल होती है इसकी, ठीक है, वाइन होती है, बेल होती है, तो हाउ लोबिया इज गेटिंग बेनिफिटेड, इट विल गेट अ सपोर्ट to grow, okay, and how jowar is getting benefit, how the jowar that is sorghum it is getting benefited, basically lobia will fix the nitrogen, right, because we understand कि it is ability of leguminous crop to fix the atmospheric nitrogen, ठीक है, तो both are getting benefit out of each other, and that is why such crops which benefit each other are known as what, these are known as your complementary crops, ठीक है। Next, a competitive, so from the name itself we can suggest that they will compete with each other, ठीक है। So competitive crops क्या, such crops compete to each other and are unsuitable for intercropping. For example, देखो two cereals, okay, even though like rice and wheat, however they cannot be grown at the same time, that is also one case, ठीक है, for example rice and maize if we take care, ठीक है, rice और maize अगर हम सोच ले, now both are, of course they are different crops, however but they belong to same family, and now they belong to same family, so their nutritional need will also be the same, ठीक है, so if we grow both the crops in the same field, they will compete for the same nutrients, okay, they will compete for the space, why, because देखो both the tendency they have to grow vertically, usually leguminous crops they grow horizontally, they have this tendency to grow like spread across the field, while the cereal crops they have tendency to vertically grow, ठीक है, so they will fight for everything, all the resources, and such crops are known as what, these are known as competitive crops. Similarly, if we take example of two, for example two legumes and you have sown in the same field, so both they will fight for the space because they have this tendency to move horizontally, right, they will have the same nutrients need, so that is why two same family crops should not be grown together, these are known as competitive crops, ठीक है। Next we have falling crops, ठीक है, so such crops what they are done when they are sown, no, they bring a lot of weed into the field, ठीक है, so that is why these are known as falling crop। बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल ऑफ इज योर डायरेक्ट सीडेड अपलैंड राइस, ठीक है, जो डायरेक्टली सीडेड राइस होते हैं, इन दैट फील्ड इट हैज बीन ऑब्जर्व्ड अ लॉट ऑफ वीड्स आर जनरेटेड, दैट इज व्हाई सीड्स आर व्हाट, दीज आर ट्रांसप्लांटेड, राइस हमेशा ट्रांसप्लांट होता है, राइट, दे आर नॉट डायरेक्टली सोन इन द फील्ड। नेक्स्ट वी हैव मल्च क्रॉप, देखो मल्च क्रॉप में क्या होता है, मल्च क्रॉप का एम होता है टू प्रोटेक्ट द मॉइस्चर, ठीक है, so to protect the moisture we are growing such crops which spread across the field, देखो if this is a field, let me just give you an example, if this is a field, ठीक है, I have sown a crop which grows like this, okay, so I have grown such crops which grows like this, of course this area is exposed to the sun rays, right, and because of that what will happen, the moisture it will get evaporated, and of course it will be in the plants will be in loss if the water gets evaporated, right, so that is why to grow such crops which cover the land horizontally, okay, which cover the land horizontally, and for what purpose, because if the land is covered and the sun will not have direct, you know, it will not directly hit the ground and moisture it will not be lost, ठीक है, so mulch crops are such crops that are grown to conserve the soil moisture. I hope you understand how I have added a picture also for better understanding through their ground covering foliage. What is foliage? This green portion, the green part of a plant that you're looking, no, it is known as foliage, ठीक है, इसको foliage बोलते हैं, तो ये क्या होता है, ये horizontally आपके spread होते हैं, ठीक है। ओके इशिता, देखो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री क्रॉप्स एंड ऑगमेंट में क्या डिफरेंस होता है, कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री यू नो इट इज गोइंग टू help each other grow, while augment is just adding to the yield. I hope you understand the difference in augment, in just for example in complementary, if the jowar or the sorghum would not have been there, the lobia would not have, actually some good support to grow. It will creep on the land, right? And similarly, it was just jowar if that was there. So of course there will be some nitrogen, but because jowar is the lobia is present there, now it has provided with some of the nitrogen, like good source of nitrogen to it. ठीक है, तो एक दूसरे को they are helping it out. While in the case of augment, it is the final result we are talking about, right? They are not helping each other to grow. Like for example, if you're not messing up with the harvesting, like you're not touching for harvesting, you don't have any aim of harvesting, and these crops are just growing there only, they would not help each other, right? They are ultimately helping us at the end when we want the result. We just wanted a bulk of fodder material, means fodder for the animals, and they are providing us with the bulk. ठीक है इशिता, if you have still confusion, please ask me, but I hope the doubt might have been cleared, and you can always ask me again. ठीक है, तो मैं थोड़ा इसको इरेज कर देती हूँ. I hope you all are getting till now whatever I'm teaching. If not, please let me know. I will tell you, because these live classes are for a purpose, so that your doubts can be cleared at the very moment only. Okay, mulch crops, I hope you have understood. Next is stimulate. So stimulate you can understand, okay, and it is for the human body. Okay, it means it stimulates the human body. For example, tobacco, opium, these are known as what? These all are known as stimulate crops. Now next is the supplementary crops. ठीक है, supplementary crops क्या होते हैं? देखो, they don't have any benefit on each other. Okay, means even if you would not have grown them together, they would have produced the same yield only. Okay, so again, they are not helping in each way. You're just growing, you're just having additional yield out of your field. लेट मी गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल. देखो मैं एग्जाम्पल देती हूँ. जैसे होता है मेज, और आपका क्या हो गया, आपका इसमें कुकुरबिट्स आपने लगा दी. ठीक है, कुकुरबिट्स में आपके कुकुम्बर कुछ भी आ जाएगा. ठीक है, देखो इसमें क्या हुआ, इन सप्लीमेंट्री क्रॉप्स यू हैव ग्रोन वन सीरियल, फॉर एग्जांपल मेज. हियर यू कैन लुक एट. ठीक है, आपने लगा दिया मेज. नाउ दिस मेज इज बीइंग सोन इन द फील्ड and it will have its yield, right? There's no problem with that. Now the farmer thought that this particular portion which is left, why to just left it? Why not to just grow crop, any other crop over there, right? Which does not move horizontally, which have its different structure, as you can see in the picture. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे क्या हुआ, यहाँ पे just to utilize the additional space in the spared space, not additional but yes, spared space in the field, the farmer has grown something else. Now this something else will actually give its yield, है ना? So if for example, if this is second crop, this is first crop, if only first crop was sown, the farmer would have its yield, or if this only the second crop was grown in the field, the farmer would have its yield, right? But just to utilize the spared space, both have been grown together, so they are not even complementary, they are not helping out each other, they are not even competitive with each other, they're just growing there, just you can say covering the space. Okay, so this is known as what? This is known as supplementary crops, just supplementing with each other. Okay, then next we have truck crops. Okay, truck crops, again the examples can be anything: tomato, potato, vegetable, or even the examples that we have studied beforehand only. Truck crops, a simple example hai when one or more crops they are grown on large scale and they have to be moved from one place to another. Because see, dekho, potato, tomato and onion, these are some of the crops, like these are the three types which are, I think, utilized in all the food that are consumed in India, or almost all the food that is consumed in India, right? That is why the production is done on a larger scale and they are being transferred to large to the far off places, distant places. Okay, that is why these are also known as truck crops. Okay, next we have trap crops. देखो trap crops का क्या काम होता है? To trap the insects, to trap the pest. ठीक, not pest but yes, insects. ठीक है, trap crops are grown, first I'll just read the definition and then I'll explain. ठीक है, to protect the main crop from a certain pest or several pests. What does it mean to protect? देखो, I give you an example. For example, you are given a choice between लौकी की सब्जी, bottle gourd, and between rajma chawal. Okay, what will you prefer? Of course, rajma chawal. 90%. Now, please don't argue. No, you will perform. You will prefer Loki only or bottle gourd only. Just to give you an example. Okay, if you're given a two example of Loki and rajma chawal, you will prefer rajma chawal, right? So the basic idea of trap crop is also the same. To trap the insects in one sort of crops, which is not our main crop. ओके, टू प्रोटेक्ट आर मेन क्रॉप। ठीक है, तो क्या होता है देखो, अगेन नाउ विल रीड द डेफिनेशन। आर ग्रोन टू प्रोटेक्ट द मेन कैश क्रॉप, वट एवर बी आर मेन क्रॉप, नो, टू प्रोटेक्ट इज फ्रॉम सम इन टू प्रोटेक्ट इट फ्रॉम द पेस्ट और इंसेक्ट्स। ठीक है, व्हाट वी डू, वी grow some other crop also so that they get attracted to it. For example, देखो, cotton red bugs trapped by ladyfinger. If you यूज द लेडी फिंगर, ठीक है, आप लेडी फिंगर आप कॉटन के अराउंड लगाएंगे तो ये बग्स जो है वहां पे ट्रैप हो जाते हैं। ठीक है, इसमें काफी एग्जांपल्स है आपके, देखो कुछ पेस्ट है, जो कुछ इंसेक्ट्स हैं, दे वुड फीड ऑन वन सॉर्ट ऑफ क्रॉप ओवर अनदर। ठीक है, इसमें फिर काफी कैटेगरीज आ जाती हैं, बट बेसिक आइडिया आपको ट्रैप क्रॉप्स का यही रखना है। ठीक है, इसमें और का कुछ नहीं रखना है। ठीक है, तो बेसिक आइडिया क्या है आपको ट्रैप करने के लिए, सो दैट आपकी मेन क्रॉप बची रहे। यहाँ पे देखो, एज यू कैन सी, ये तो खैर सेम एग्जाम्पल नहीं है आपका, ठीक है, फोटो का, बट आपका ऐसे ट्रैप क्रॉप्स क्या है, जो आपके मेन क्रॉप है उसको प्रोटेक्ट करना है, उसको तो ट्रैप करने के लिए कोई दूसरा क्रॉप लगा देते हैं। ठीक है, स्मॉलर क्रॉप्स आर स्पेशलाइज्ड बीइंग एबिलिटी टू सप्रेस वीड्स। ठीक है, यहाँ पे क्या एम है, टू ग्रो सच क्रॉप्स। देखो वीड ऑल्सो, वीड जो होते हैं, दे नीड स्पेस टू ग्रो। If there is no space provided to them, of course they will not grow. ठीक है, so such crops, smaller crops are such specialized cover crops. Cover crops means these are such crops which can cover the area so that there is no space left for what, for the weeds to grow. ठीक है, specialized cover crops being ability to suppress weed, suppress हो जाएंगे weed, how, by providing dense foliage and quick growing ability. ठीक है, I hope you understand the difference. Now, some of you might get confused between smother crops and mulch crops, because in mulch also we are covering the area. ठीक है, and in this smother crop are also we are covering the area. ठीक है, I'm again telling you the examples. It's not very hard and fast that these examples will be used in specific type only. These different examples can be used in different types. However, our main aim is to understand that why these crops are sown. In the mulch crops, the aim was to protect the soil moisture, while in case of smaller crops also we are using such crops which have dense foliage which will cover the ground, but here our aim is not to protect the soil moisture, our aim is to reduce or suppress the weed growth. ठीक है, I hope you understand the difference. Same examples can be used in n number of purposes, but the aim is what matters. ठीक है, तो ये सारी चीजें याद रखनी है। स्मॉलर क्रॉप्स में क्या काम है, टू सप्रेस द वीड ग्रोथ। ठीक है, नेक्स्ट वी हैव paired row crops. ठीक है, paired row crops, this particular formula it is utilized in areas where is, you know, there is lack of water availability. So there what is done, paired row means usually what is done, rows like normal rows are there, right? But in such cases two pairs are there, then one row pair is skipped, then two pairs are kept, and then one pair is skipped. Okay, why is it done so? This is done to protect the, means so that water can be utilized efficiently. Okay, so now these furrow, the water that is being run through that. Okay, तो ये आपका किसके दो, actually it will be utilized for two rows. Okay, generally the third row of crop is removed, okay, or growing of, okay, and it is done to conserve the soil moisture in dryland areas. Okay, I hope you understand the difference. Next is we have para-utera crops, also known as relay cropping. Okay, has been asked in one of your previous year questions. Okay, relay का क्या मतलब होता है? Relay game you must have played, right, where the rod has to be moved from your team partner, okay, and there has to be someone holding that, right, then only you can run. So here para-utera crops or the relay cropping, what happens in that, the seed of the succeeding means the next crop that the farmer has to sow, the seeds of those crops are beforehand only, before harvesting. And what is harvesting? We have understood, cutting down of crops at maturity. ठीक है, 10 to days prior to harvesting of rice crop, what is done, the next crops, then the seeds of the next crops are being spread in the field. ठीक है, and why is it done so? This is done so that whatever the nutrients that are being provided as an input for the primary crop, which in this case, देखो, when we are using para utera, we are specifically talking about after rice crop. However, in relay, we are not restricted ourselves to rice. We are talking about any crop, any one crop, and the next crop 10 to 15 days before the crop has been the seeds of them has been added into the field. Okay, this is done so whatever be the nutrients and the inputs, the heavy inputs that were provided into the field, it includes fertilizers, it includes water, moisture, and all the things. Okay, so that the seed can actually utilize them. Okay, so this is known as para-utera crops. Again, I will read example. We have lentil, gram, pea. Okay, succeeding means next crops were these, but we have broadcasted means we have just broadcasting. It is a method of sowing seeds where you randomly just spread the seeds into the field. Okay, at 10 to 15 days prior harvesting the rice crops. With the same example we have understood. ठीक है, क्योंकि उनको nutrients जितने भी हैं वो properly utilize हो. ठीक है. Next we have nuts crops. ठीक है, what are nuts crops? So a crop, any tree, any shrub or other plant which will actually providing shade to the to other crop is known as a nurse crop. What is the work of a nurse? To actually protect you, to provide you with some nourishment, right, to the health. तो अगर कोई आपका कोई one tree it is there, or any tree it can be there, any plant which is actually protecting the other plant, right, from wind, from frost, okay, by providing shade और ठीक है, तो these are known as what? These are known as your nursing crops, इनको बोला जाता है. Again देखो, there is no hard and fast example. This all depends on the situation for what you are using a particular crop. ठीक है. Next है lay crops. ठीक है, so any crop or combination of crop that is grown, ठीक है, for purpose of feed of livestock, it is known as lay crops. ठीक है, and usually what happens, these fodder crops are in rotation, they are being rotated with legume crops. ठीक है, any crop or combination of crops किस चीज के लिए? For grazing. ठीक है, for the future for the livestock is known as lay crop. और इसका rotation किसके साथ करते हैं? Legume crop के साथ करते हैं. ठीक है. Next we have border or guard crop. So border crop as you can see, तो देखो जो main field होता है ना, whatever crop that you have sown there, a bordering is done usually with the with either thorny crops or some height जो vertically जो grow करते हैं, such crops which are vertically grown. Okay, so they are being protected, the main field is protected as you can see in the field, so that any animal cannot go inside. Okay, usually देखो animal would just randomly roam around the field, right, but they have seen that if large long plants have been there, they would not purposely would want to just cross between them, right, they would rather they would go around them, right. So that is why border or guard crops are, these crops are grown in the border. They guard the main crops from trespassing of the animal, so that animals cannot go inside it. However, if after that also the animal is growing, then that's a very completely different thing, but the purpose is to avoid the trespassing of animals. ठीक है, थॉर्नी जैसे सनफ्लावर थॉर्नी होते हैं, सो थॉर्नी क्रॉप से नहीं चाहेगा कोई एनिमल उससे गुजरना, राइट. सो सच एग्जांपल्स आर देयर in the case of border or guard crop. ठीक है. Next you have question, again a definition. Yes, whoever is saying option number B, tillage, yes, it is indeed the right answer. So this is the perfect definition to it. ठीक है, अब थोड़ा tillage को समझ लेते हैं. ठीक है, देखो उससे पहले to understand the tillage we have to look at the crop production. So अभी तक we have understood about crops. ठीक है, what are the different types of crops, on what basis we have classified these agronomic crops, and please again keep in mind we are talking about just field crops. We are not talking about the horticulture crops because we are studying the chapter agronomy. ठीक है, अब now we have understood what are these. Now let's talk about the next step, which is crop production. Okay, so how to actually produce, what principles and practices to follow to produce a crop. And of course we have understood, right, ki crop production kya hota hai, like what is agronomy? It is the principle and practices of crop production. So this is now that step now we are talking. Okay, so important practices are followed during crop production. What are that? In that, first of all, we prepare the soil, we prepare the land for the seeds to actually sow or grow, you can say. ठीक है, so first we prepare the soil. Then we sow seeds. So for sowing seeds also there are different methods that are followed, to how much depth to sow. All these things are, they all come under the sowing of seeds. Then comes irrigation. This talks about the water facility that has to be provided for the crops, okay, to grow. Then we have applications of manures, fertilizers and pesticides. Of course, they require, you know, a lot of nutrient that has to be provided to the plants. So application of manure, fertilizer, pesticides are done. Then protecting and harvesting the crops, ठीक है, protect भी करना है of course उनको, and then we have to harvest the crops when they are sown, ठीक है. And finally storage and preserving also we have to do. तो देखो ये सारे steps किसके हैं, ये सारे steps आपके crop production के. अभी we have to focus on the preparation of soil, and the tillage is one of such thing. Like while preparing the soil, what is done, tillage is done, right? तो देखो प्रिपरेशन में भी ना हमारे 3 स्टेप होते हैं. सबसे पहले वी हैव टू प्लो द लैंड, एंड द प्रॉपर वर्ड विल बी टिलेज. व्हाट विल बी द डिफरेंस, आई विल जस्ट टेल यू, ठीक है. तो सबसे होता है प्लोइंग होती है, फिर होता है लेवल करना होता है लैंड को, फिर थोड़ा मैन्योरिंग उसमें ऐड करनी होती है, ठीक है. व्हेनेवर वी वांट अ न्यू क्रॉप to be sown in the field, the first thing we do is to plow it. Okay, so what is the difference between plowing and actually tillage? ठीक है, देखो plowing is just, you can say, tillage or plowing, you can say it is the upside down of soil. ठीक है, अपसाइड डाउन ऑफ सॉइल करना होता है. वी हैव टू डू द अपसाइड डाउन ऑफ सॉइल. व्हाई इज इट डन सो? इट इज डन फॉर n number of reasons. ठीक है, it is done to loosen up the soil, because if the soil is intact, where will the plant, it will the roots of the plant, it will penetrate, it will not have the place to penetrate, right? And it will not be able to absorb the water. For example, see, if everything, the soil particles, they are very intact, the water which you are provided into the field, that will just move out of the field. Why? Because the soils are very pretty much compacted, right? If there is some space present in them, of course the water will have the space to move down, right? And this will further will help the soil, the plants to absorb the water from the soil, okay. Apart from that, it is very important to do tillage before sowing a particular seed. Why? Because there are seeds, I'm sorry, there are weeds. Yeah, there are weeds that are present in the field, okay, and they have their roots. Once this uprooting is done, once this upside down of the soil is done, the weeds are get uprooted, and because of the effect of sun, they get dried. Okay, they get dried, and once they are dried, of course they would mix in the soil, ठीक है, वो mix हो जाएंगे soil में, decomposition start हो जाएगा, तो weed infestation भी जो क्या है उससे कम हो जाता है. Another important reason of doing plowing or tillage, I'll just tell you the difference between the two, ठीक है, प्लोइंग और टेलेज का. बट एक और इंपॉर्टेंट जो डिफरेंस है वो क्या है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, सी इफ देर आर eggs of pest or insects, if they are present in soil, okay, and of course, see, these eggs also, they have a certain time period to emerge. And what is that certain time period? That particular certain time period is usually when the vegetative cycle of the particular crop starts, ठीक है, तो वो उसके साथ sync में होता है. Now if, for example, imagine for yourself that your crop has just started to grow, and you have to get the result, but then the eggs, the pest and insects from the eggs, they emerge out and they eat everything, right? It will be a loss for the farmer, right? So that is why the particular field, when the tillage is done or plowing is done, the eggs of such pest and insect which are inside these soil particles, they also get exposed, ठीक है, वो भी expose हो जाते हैं, and they get dried out and they die, ठीक है. So because of these reasons, this is done, the plowing or tillage is done. Now what is the difference? देखो, plowing is like, in general, this term is used when the soil is disturbed, and plowing can be done at any part of the agriculture process. For example, if afterwards also, like you have sown the seeds, now the crops are grown, right? They are in the vegetative phase, and now again you would have to loosen up the soil for again providing with the aeration facility or maybe the water so that it can penetrate, right? So you will again plow. Okay, so plowing is a general term, you can say informal general term, which is used just to refer to the activity of disturbing the soil. While tillage, it is a scientific process, okay, which have different step, and it has a aim, that is to prepare the seed bed, ठीक है. इसको और अच्छे से definition जो थी, again we will look at. Tillage is defined as the mechanical manipulation of soil we do with the help of tools and implements. And here in tillage, we aim to have that proper ideal condition where the seed germination will be at best, okay, seed establishment will be best, and the growth of crops will also be best. So different simple difference देखो both cases में, tilling में भी plowing में भी upside down ही होता है. Plowing is a general term, can be used at any time, any phase, but in tillage we have a particular aim and we use specific tools, implements. We aim to have a specific ideal condition which will differ of course from plant to plant. That ideal condition to have proper land where these seeds can be sown properly, crops can be grown, and we will get the best harvest. This is the only difference, okay, between the two. After देखो, once you have done the upside down of land, of course leveling needs to be done. Now by default, the picture that I'm showing you, the GIF I'm showing you, there is the field is leveled only, right? This is the by default case. However, in general natural time, it is not expected so, right? So once plowing is done, the field is leveled. Okay, leveled means every, like, it should not be, if this is the case in the field, then with the help of instrument it is leveled. So whatever be the excess soil, it will just move out of it, and wherever there was lesser soil that is present, it will fill that area, and whole field will be of the same height, you can say, or the same level. And then manuring is done. What is manuring? Basically to add nutrients into the field, okay. Beforehand कुछ nutrients add करे जाते field में, so that जो भी plants है they can uptake that. ठीक है, I hope that is fine. No, Ashish, it is the amount of course, it is not 10K, okay. It is present, the link is present in the description box below. Please find it, and you can enroll yourself. It is you will also look at the amount of the course, okay. It's not what other are saying. Now next there are different types of tillage, ठीक है. Tillage को हम समझ गए, what is an mechanical manipulation of soil होता है, with the help of tools होता है, ठीक है. Now it can be again classified into various types, ठीक है. Now based on type, अब इसमें भी तीन categorization, एक तो based on time, when is it done, before sowing the crops, before cultivation or after cultivation. Then based on the cropping season, ऑन सीजन टिलेज है या ऑफ सीजन टिलेज है. देखो ये तो बहुत सिंपल है, इसको मैं यहीं पे बता देती हूँ. बेस्ड ऑन क्रॉपिंग सीजन, ऑन सीजन मींस व्हेन एक्चुअली यू हैव टू सो क्रॉप, एट दैट टाइम इफ यू आर डूइंग दिस मैकेनिकल मैनिपुलेशन ऑफ द लैंड, इट इज नोन एज ऑन सीजन टिलेज. ऑफ सीजन टिलेज मींस द सीजन you are not growing in that particular season. It's the off season, actually means you are growing nothing in the field, but you are doing tillage. Now this is usually done especially in the areas where there is scarcity of water. So what happens there, during like there is uncertainty of rainfall anyway, right? So if for example it's a very dry land area, and there is if, and we know with the effect of sun, the soil, it will get compacted, है ना, compact हो जाएगी because of the effect of sun. So now if that happens, so whenever rainfall will come, it will directly move out of the field because the soil is very compacted. That is why off season tillage is performed usually in such areas, so that if there is sudden rain, the moisture can actually penetrate into the soil. Of course it will not remain just in the upper surface of the soil, it will move deep down, and that will help to even rejuvenate the water table as well. ठीक है, तो ये तो मैंने यहीं पे समझा दिया क्रॉपिंग सीजन के बेस में. Now these two are things that we have to consider based on time, before or after, or based on the बेस्ड ऑन द मॉडर्न फार्मिंग सिस्टम की कंजर्वेशनल होता है, कन्वेंशनल होता है. ठीक है, अब देखो बेस्ड ऑन टाइम, इसको समझते हैं. बेस्ड ऑन टाइम मींस वी हैव अंडरस्टूड preparatory cultivation before you have sown the crops and after cultivation. ठीक है, after you have sown the crops. Before maybe we have primary tillage, secondary tillage. ठीक है, and layout means is basically to just look at in demand with the particular crop. तो इसको रहने दो. Primary and secondary are of utmost important. ठीक है, primary tillage is, there are, देखो, whenever you do tillage in the field, you do it 2 times. Why? Because first time, because the land, it is so hard that one time when you will do, the particles, the soil that will be that will be you can say kind of uprooted, or that will be dismantled, but in will be very big chunks, right? So in primary tillage, what is done, you have been able to just disrupt the soils, and they are in clots, they are formed. ठीक है, ये clots type में आपके formed होंगे. Then After that whole field you have done. Now in secondary tillage, what happens, these clods are further divided into finer particles, and that is why it is important. However, now in the future lectures we will understand that how it is actually more harmful to do more and more tillage in the field. They have their importance, and how they actually benefit, but there are more cons than pros, and that is why the farmers have restricted themselves to limited number of tillage, which we'll look at in the further slides. But currently you have to understand what is preparatory cultivation. What happens, there are two tillage happens. Okay, primary tillage, secondary tillage. Primary tillage will help to break down the clots, means to disrupt the soil. Okay, but bigger clots will be formed. Now these bigger clots will be further down broken into finer particles with the help of secondary tillage. ठीक है, ये इतना समझ में आ गया? I hope this is clear. Now primary tillage also have some categorization. ठीक है, year round tillage you can understand all throughout the year this tillage is done. Deep tillage is when you deeply at first time you are 10 to 12 centimeter actually this particular level. ठीक है, या 12 to 15 level आपका deep जब टिलेज होता है उसको डीप टिलेज बोलते हैं. वेरी सिंपल टू अंडरस्टैंड. नाउ सब सॉइलिंग कॉन्सेप्ट इज व्हाट. देखो व्हाट हैपेंस, लाइक दिस इज द फील्ड. ठीक है, एंड like this is the soil. Okay, now when tractors are used a lot in the field, so what happens, of course they are being used in the upper surface, and even if they have some instruments that are attached to it, they are just loosening up the soil in the upper surface only, right? But because of the constant pressure of these tractors, the subsoil area, this is the surface soil, but the subsoil, the below area, they actually, because of this pressure they starts becoming compact. Okay, so because of that, if this will be compact, of course we'll face the same issue of the roots also, and of course the water will not be able to move down to get mixed into the water table, right? So that is why what happens in such cases, in 3 to 4 years subsoiling is done, in which with the help of subsoiling instrument, what is done, these subsoiling instruments are like this shape only, but are very they have very higher length. Okay, they are used, and 3 to 4 years subsoiling is done of the field where actually now the subsoil is being disrupted. ठीक है, तो दैट इज हेंस द नेम सबसॉइलिंग. तो यहाँ पे क्या होता है, सब सॉइल आपकी डिस्टर्ब होती है अगेन फॉर द सेम रीजन, टू लूजन अप द सॉइल. ठीक है, दिस इज नोन एज व्हाट, दिस इज नोन एज सबसॉइलिंग. तो ये आपके कुछ प्रिपरेटरी कल्टीवेशंस के एग्जांपल थे. ठीक है, नाउ लेट्स लुक एट आफ्टर कल्टीवेशन. ठीक है, इसमें आफ्टर कल्टीवेशन देखते हैं, बट टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट फर्स्ट लेट्स आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन. Name the practice to cover part of the plant with soil in order to protect it. It can be protection from light, from frost, even from winds. What is it called? Anuj Yuvraj saying option number C, earthing up. ठीक है, yes they are right, and yes that is earthing up, it is the right answer. देखो अब हमने ये तो समझ लिया कि before cultivation there are two types, right? Majorly there are two types, primary tillage and secondary tillage. However, primary was further subdivided into 3 types. Okay, now after cultivation means once you have sown crops, after that also there are sometimes disruption of the soil that needs to be done. ठीक है, तो उस क्या क्या cases हैं we will look at, and say in addition to this there are some other intercultural operation practices also happens, which we will look at abhi only. Because we are just doing this, so even doing that is going to be in sync. ठीक है, अभी और अच्छे से समझ में आएगा. Let me just tell you. देखो ये आपके कुछ, you can understand it in this way. There are some intercultural operation. What are intercultural operation? Okay, once you have sown a seed and till the time you are harvested, it's not like that in between you don't have to touch the field, you don't have to work in the field. Of course you have to work in the field, right? So that practice in the field, it is known as what? It is known as your intercultural operation. उनको क्या बोलते हैं? Intercultural operation बोलते हैं. ठीक है, तो first है आपका thinning and gap filling. What is this? For example, देखो in the field, again I'm saying that some of it will be part of the tilling that we have understood, right? कि disruption होगा field का, but some of the things, the terminologies that we are going to study here will not be directly linked to it. So why are we doing so? We are doing so that these are also the terminologies that are being utilized in the intercultural operation, so you would have an idea कि ये होती क्या है. ठीक है. अब देखो what is thinning and gap filling. Basically what happens once you have sown the seed, there are two cases, one this and one this. It once, for example, it happened that here the seeds were like in a proper distance, but it happened that here 2 3 seeds, they were just compacted and they were like together, and now 3 plants are growing here and there is a proper distance. Another case can be that there you have grown seeds. I think I should sow seed below the soil, right? तो ये आपके seeds हैं, ये आपके seeds हैं, and it happened that okay, these are 4 seeds. It happened that it grew, it could not germinate, and it grew. So now there is a space that is there. Okay. So what is thinning and gap filling operation that happens in the field? Thinning means in such condition where 2 to 3 soil plants are now growing at the same portion only, there 2 are extracted and 1 is being kept there only. This is known as thinning. As you can see here, thinning, like removal of the plant, thinning is being done. And what is gap filling? Where there is gap, there we have to fill that. ठीक है, that is gap filling. तो ये one of the आपका intercultural operation होता है. Weeding and hoeing is done. ठीक है, what is weeding and hoeing? This is also again you can say it plowing also. इसको plowing भी बोल सकते हो because up and down हो रहा है. ठीक है, but is a purpose. Weeding is basically, as you can see here, the soil, it is dug and weeds, they are removed. So when weeds are removed, the soil is dug because so that weeds can be removed. This is known as what? This is known as weeding. And normal hoeing is done to loosen up the soil so that again proper aeration can happen and proper the flow of water can happen. तो उसको hoeing बोलते हैं. ठीक है. Earthing up, which was our question also, and the best example of it is potato. ठीक है. So that देखो आपने कोई कोई इसमें देखा होगा ना, in some potatoes you must have seen greenish color that is there. ठीक है, तो greenish color होता है. Can anybody tell the name of this greenish, like what toxin is formed? And that green portion, it is not good for consumption. Okay, and to avoid that, that happens, that green toxin it is produced, it happens because of the sunlight, because the direct contact with the sunlight. That is why there what is done, after every 20 to 25 days this earthing up is done. So basically the side soil, it is being, you know, pushed up, and the plant is being the lower portion in case of potato, because potato is grown in the lower side, right, below the ground. So the lodging up of the soil is done around the plant, okay, to protect it. Now in case of plant, that potato is to directly protect it from sunlight, but in some other cases some other reason is there. Okay, so potato is the example. You have to tell me this amount of green, okay, toxin that is present in potato and it is harmful for people. Ashish is asking, ma'am, please explain why harrowing is done in after cultivation, it is already done in secondary tillage. ठीक है, देखो आशीष, harrowing का भी same principle है जो hoeing का है, that is to loosen up the soil. Because you can think for yourself, like you have once you have done harrowing, which is, yes, of course, as you are saying, which comes under your secondary tillage. ठीक है, so now small clots are now being, and they are now in the finer particles, right? Now you have grown the seeds. Now the laborers or the farmers, they are walking across the field to for doing various purpose, right? The plants have now settled, right? And of course it's a natural tendency of even the soil particles to come together to make compact, right? So then again would be the same problem, or we have to tackle the same problem, that is to loosen them up so that the proper aeration can happen. Because see, any crop, it will be grown in the field, it will be on an average for 6 months there, right? So it is not like that. Roots, they also require air. Roots require air. If there is, all the pores are filled with water, it will die, right? It will require air also. And if the surface soil, it becomes compact, the water will not able to enter, right? It will directly impact the plant. So again harrowing is done. तो जो harrowing है वो फिर से की जाती है, again it is done so that the proper aeration and proper flow, moisture retention can be maintained in the soil. ठीक है, तो it is your after cultivation also harrowing is done. ठीक है, I hope Ashish that is clear. If it is not, please ask me. Next is rogging. Okay, rogging is also one of the intercultural operation. In this, what happens? Dekho, I have given this example. We know there are different types of brinjals that exist, right? Now, for example, the farmer has bought the seeds for this particular sort. Okay, this particular sort of brinjal, for example. Okay, so it has grown the seeds of it, right? But now what happens? Now the plants, of course, the plant will look similar only, right? To in the initial phases, because all are of brinjal. But after a while, when the flowering it happens, or maybe in some other plant cases before that also, the farmer realized that actually 99% of the seeds that are bought, they are from the same variety only which I wanted to sow. But 1% is in the field which is of this yellow variety of brinjal, right? Now this yellow variety of brinjal is 1% is there, which is taking up the nutrients, which is taking up the water, which is taking up the care, and the time of the farmer is being utilized in that. But they are not going to get any profit out of it. Why? Because the products will be sold at bulk only, right? So the farmer will get the money for this sort of the first variety of brinjal only. For the second variety, the production will not be much because it is just 1%, right? So it will be like wasting of inputs in this 1% of variety that is now being grown in the field, and it is better to remove that. Okay, and just focus on the 99% of it. So this process is known as rogging, removing of unwanted variety in the field, which is some different variety than needed, and the number is so less that you're not going to get any benefit out of it. The process of removal of such variety is known as rogging. Okay, I hope you get the point. Next is the term topping. ठीक है, topping अब ये क्यों की जाती है? देखो, if this is specially done in such crops which where you require more and more branches. ठीक है, if it happens, देखो, there is a main branch, ठीक है, and then there are lateral branches. If the main branch keeps on growing, keeps on growing, keeps on growing, of course the branches will be lesser, because much of the nutrient will be required for this apical. The top portion is known as what? Apical portion is known as what? Okay, so because of this apical dominance, there will be lesser branches that will be formed, and the lesser yield will be there. Okay, so what is topping? Topping means top. Okay, so here what is done? The top portion, the top portion of the main branch is removed, so that the side branches can grow more and we can have more yield. This is known as topping. To encourage the lateral branching, the top branch, okay, of the topical the apical portion of the main branch, it is removed. ठीक है, क्यों, किस चीज के लिए? ताकि lateral जो lateral development of branches हो सके, इसको बोलते हैं topping. ठीक है. Next case we have propping. So what is propping? This is also done. So basically what happens in the case of especially sugarcane, if you look at it, okay, after a time, because they become very long, and they are very thin, and they have a lot of leaves from the lower portion also. Because of that, lodging happens. Lodging means, as you can see in the picture, the sugarcane are very straight. They are standing very straight, right? But in case of propping, in case of lodging, what happens in the general condition, when they have reached a height, they will lodge in the field. They will bend in the field. They will lodge in the field. This is the condition, right? So as to make them up straight, what is done? Propping is done. Okay, so in propping, what is done? These lower portion leaves, they are binded towards means in the sugar cane, and now the sugar cane is upright. This is known as what? This is known as propping. ठीक है, इसको propping बोलते हैं. Next is detrashing. So again, in the same case that of sugar cane, the leaves that we have talked about, right? You can see there the leaves are being fallen. So now these leaves are usually, like, because they are freely they grow, right? So because of that, what happens, because if dethrashing is not done, these leaves will cover all the space that is there. Now because of that, what happens? The proper exchange of gases does not happen. There's a lot of CO2 that will be formed there, a lot of pest infestation, a lot of the rodents and all these things which require a very cold and dark places to live, they all will start growing there, and because of that our yield will get impacted, right? That is why detrashing is done. So in this, what is done? Basically, these leaves are being removed, okay, so that there is proper space, proper flow of these gases happens, right? Proper flow of gases, the proper aeration that happens, proper sunlight penetration is there, so that rodents and other such pests cannot be grown. ठीक है, तो ये सब चीजों की जो आपके ये इन सब चीजों की वजह से डीट्रैशिंग की जाती है. ठीक है, आई होप दैट इज क्लियर. नेक्स्ट इज वन डीसकरिंग, एंड देयर इज अ डिफरेंस. देखो, देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन टॉपिंग एंड डीसकरिंग. हाउएवर इन बोथ द केसेस द एम इज टू हैव लेटरल branches only, मतलब lateral advancement ओनली। डी सकरिंग के केस में क्या होता है, देखो इसका बेस्ट एग्जांपल वैसे आपका टोबैको भी है। देखो वहां पे क्या है, इन टोबैको लीव्स आर द योर कमर्शियल इंपॉर्टेंस, लीव्स होते हैं, ठीक है। ये आपकी ब्रांचेस, स्टेम्स, ये सब नहीं होती है। द मोर द लीव्स आर, द मोर इट विल हैव बेनिफिट, ठीक है। अब डी सकरिंग में क्या होता है, जो लेटरल, जब क्या होता है, ये जैसे मान लो आपका ये प्लांट दिख रहा है, ठीक है, जब यहाँ लेटरली आपके बड निकलने लगते हैं जिससे आपकी न्यू स्टेम्स बनेंगी, ठीक है, तो जैसे जहाँ पे जो बड होता है ना, जहां से नई स्टेम बननी होती है, उसको हटा देते हैं। दीज स्टेम्स, दीज लेटरल पोर्शन आर नोन एज सकर्स, ओके। These suckers are removed, desuckering होते हैं, means these suckers are removed so that again, because if apical dominance happens, or maybe these more suckers will have produced, they will utilize the energy and the resources which can actually be used to make more and more um, लीव्स इन केस ऑफ टोबैको, ठीक है। आपका ना जो टॉपिंग होती है ना, इट ऑल्सो हैपेंस इन द केस ऑफ ग्राम, विच इज योर दाल, ठीक है, ग्राम के केस में भी होती है। बिकॉज इफ देर आर मोर ब्रांचेस दैट आर देयर, फ्रॉम मोर ब्रांचेस मोर लेग्यूम्स, मोर पल्सेस विल बी प्रोड्यूस, ठीक है। तो डीसकरिंग में भी यही है कि एम है ज्यादा स्टेम्स ना बने, लेटरल एडवांसमेंट, लेटरल मीन्स साइड, एपिकल मीन्स टॉप, लेटरल मीन साइड। तो आपकी साइड स्टेम, साइड सकर, साइड शूट्स ज्यादा पैदा ना हो, ज्यादा ना बने, सो दैट आपका जो मेन चीज है, मेन प्रोडक्शन है, दैट इज ऑफ द लीव्स, वो हो सके। सो दिस इज नोन एज व्हाट, डीसकरिंग। एम इज टू कंजर्व द एनर्जी, और यू कैन से डाइवर्ट द एनर्जी दैट इज बीइंग यूज्ड फॉर मेकिंग न्यू सकर्स टू एक्चुअली इन्वेस्ट इन द लीफ, ठीक है। इसको बोलते हैं हम लीफ सकरिंग। So see, देखो, it's 5:35. I misjudged a little bit time. Okay, I thought it will take up to 6. So what you can do, if you have any questions, please ask me. And tomorrow, this has given me an idea also how much to make. ठीक है, I'm really sorry. It's still 25 minutes left, and we are done with today's session. The rest of the agronomy and the next two chapter we are going to do tomorrow. Please don't worry, I'm not going to leave anything. And please, it would be really grateful if you could give feedback also, because this was the first session, right? So whatever feedback you will say, it will help to improve the classes only in further. So feedbacks are welcomed. And also, if you have not bought the course, so for the people who are watching it currently live on YouTube, this was just, you can say, kind of a demo class. As I told in my previous orientation video also, some of the aspirants, like if you know, they have the speculation, will it be taught good or not, so it was kind of a, you know, a demo that has been provided to you. If you feel like after this that okay, you could understand what have been taught, and this is going to help you in the preparation, in the link, the description link that has been provided, there you can find, this is the NABARD top up course that we are providing. And in this we are providing the content, NABARD top up course, okay. This is the NABARD top up course. In this we are providing content for ARD, and current affairs will be there, decision making, and we have computer knowledge. Live classes are just of ARD, and for the rest three you will get proper quizzes, content, summary sheets, okay. And ARD also you will get the same, okay. The idea is, if you have till now prepared for RBI exam, and now if you you know, focusing on NABARD, so these are the subjects which might have been left, right? So these sessions are going to help you with it. So, and the again link you can find it in the description, and I can see. Yes, Siddharth. And what you can do, I've told you, we have already provided with summary sheet. Right now, it's up to you if you want to first attend the lectures and then want to look at summary sheet, or want to read and then come to the class. Whatever suits you, you just ask me question, and in the discussion forum also you can raise the doubt. We will answer that. Okay. You have multiple options, and I think you already know that, which you can do. Okay. Thank you, Yubraj, and I really wish that it will help you in your examination and you can clear it. Okay. So we'll meet again, okay, tomorrow. I'll add some more topics. Now it has given me an idea as well, okay, how to actually tackle. So thank you everybody for joining. And again, if you want to give any suggestions, please, that is welcome. And yeah. Thank you, Anjali. And now I'm ending the session. We'll meet again tomorrow with the topics. You already have the schedule, right? Thank you, everybody. Has given an idea as well, okay, how to actually tackle. So thank you, everybody, for joining. And again, if you want to give any suggestions,